Hello and welcome to the fan cams after the Blues beat the West Coast Eagles 14 goals 15 99 to 4 goals 10 34. It was a 65-point win at Optus Stadium. Just a massive sigh of relief. I think as shocked as what I was from last week, I'm just as shocked, if not even more, about tonight. And that's crazy. If you had said that a month ago, that would have been wild to even think about. But that's footy. So unpredictable. Get a much needed win. So many storylines to come out of that one. We were up against it early in the week. We're all in the pits. Maybe not all of us, but some of us were in the pits. Most of us were in the pits. And the boys came through. They got the job done. And then some. That was a very convincing performance. So we are going to go through the fan cams. We are not going to have many opposition supporters tuning in tonight, just the way we like it. We're going to unpack the game. We'd love to hear from as many of you as possible. If you're in Australia, if you're anywhere around the world, the link is in the live chat right now. Click it. You'll come into the waiting room, and then we can unpack all the things that just happened and go from there. These fan cams are brought to you, and they're powered by Mr. Ugur Koken. So we thank him very much for that. All right, let's begin.
Feels like a long time since we done one of these on the back of a dub.
Oh, mate. Oh, what a week. What a week
mate.
that was.
Mate, and we wanted to see some energy, didn't we? And it was fascinating. For those who tuned in last night, we talked about the urgency of having new kids and having to change the way you play, because you can't bomb it in. When you've got no toes, you can't just bomb it in. You're going to have to go back to that old school, kick it forward, put pressure on. And it was almost like they found it. And it has to be said, let's be honest, West Coast aren't much chop. But they needed that. They needed like a dress rehearsal, a reminder of what they're about. Voss keeps drumming it in. Pressure, contest. And you know what? It took about a quarter, but once they found it, they didn't forget about it, did they? They didn't forget about it. And amazing to see players played in their normal positions, like their actual positions. Seeing Jackson Binns being allowed to keep his width, not be dragged in the contest, play to his one wood. To see Blake Acres go back to the wing, to see Ollie Hollands come to more of that defensive halfback to protect that overlap run. And it was infectious, wasn't it? It was infectious. And that second half, you could see the boys had remembered it was a bit of fun. And they remembered how to have fun. Great to see them. Just great to see the smiles on the faces again.
Yeah. They got to work. They earned the right. And then they found their flow. I was surprised. I was surprised the weather held off so much. I thought we would be watching a slog of a game. And then when I saw it was clear weather, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be interesting because we didn't bring many tall forwards in. It didn't matter. Enter Brody Kemp, the swing man. How impressive was he?
I mean, it's something we've talked about in the VFL wrap, on this show, on my show. Carlton are obsessed with someone who can play both ways. And I think it keeps this was what he did as a junior. Do you know what I mean? All-Australian nomination as a junior, as a forward. Also got nominated in the back line as well. So it's something that he does two ways. I think it's super important that this is probably something next year we continue with, because he looked confident and he looked lively from the start, didn't he? He had that first errant kick, but to see him attack the ball with such command against Jeremy McGovern at times as well, just attack the ball, do his confidence no end of good. And Ashton Moyer, tell you what, I don't know if he's been watching soccer, but fuck me, that was a finish that some of the best strikers will do. And your boy, Corey Durden, said he had to step up. It was the pressure forwards game, and heartbreaking he took that knock. But tell you what, he came to play football today, didn't he?
Mate, it's amazing when you take away the brand name players and you just bring in young, hungry players who are not yet established, but they're trying to establish themselves, as players, and not only in the team, but in the competition, and earn that respect. And I even loved what I saw from young Cooper Lord early on. And then you get the little rewards. You get the Bins moment. You get the Moya moment. You find that Ollie Hollands can step up and start showing some, dare I say it, early stages of leadership, and all that experience now comes to the top. We just touched on Brody Kemp. It's amazing what happens when seemingly you're limited in your options with talent, but when the work rate's there, anything can happen.
We go back to that happy 5-week period where we were flying high. Do you know what I mean? We were talking about how does Chera fit back in. Shots, people talk about culture, good culture, people step up, and it feels like Voss has the answer for himself when he has these injuries, that you play players to their strength. You don't try and fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
It's amazing what happens. Jack Carroll, this was Jack Carroll's game, because suddenly he's played as that loose, that half inside mid, half winger, and we always take the piss. I still don't know what Jack Carroll is. But accidentally, this football club has a role for Jack Carroll where you're kind of a forward, you're kind of a loose player, and he suited it. I thought Ollie's work finally giving him an actual bit of responsibility and letting Blake Acres be a bit more offensive and look for that intercept made strength. I thought Lockie Cowan's ability to be the loose player this week after the 3 weeks was phenomenal. And you know what? They've got a lot of work to do still, because next week is a big game, and hopefully the weeks after it are big games as well. But you can only beat what's in front of you. They needed they needed someone to beat up on, and they beat up on them. And hopefully now Voss has seen players versus stars. It works all the time. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring next week, because it's all well and good doing this. Next week's very important. The week after is very important. The week after that's very important. And the week after that is probably the biggest game of their lives. So real solid. And you know what? Cream rises to the top. Hopefully, when Mackay and Charlie come back, they remember what they did. And that is get the ball moving forward, pressure, all good. It'll change it. Because that is it. Like, people overstate Carlton's players. They are shit kicks, all of them. None of them would win a kicking contest. This system helps them, because all it is play territory and pressure. Any idiot can do that. And these are the best idiots for the job.
It is suited to what they are. Yeah. I mean, look, I think it's just so clear. I mean, forget the opponent for a moment. I know that West Coast are where they are, but we're saying that now. 3 hours ago, everyone was worried about West Coast because we were playing over there with 17 on the injury list. It was just from the approach, the focus, the concentration, defensively, hunting in numbers, tackling with more than one player, having numbers at seemingly every spillage. It just wasn't there last week, and it was here today. So we needed the win. We need to win next week, and that's it. Just win. Whether it's 1 point or 50 points, just win. Destiny is literally in our hands. We can qualify, get a week off, make a run at it, go again.
Mate, and for me, last week's anger was because these guys, had 2 tackles inside 50?
Yeah.
20 today. Like, that's almost that's more than they've shown the last 5 weeks. Like, that is the template of Voss's system. And to just remember to do that, because you didn't really have to do that against this team. It's all right saying the Eagles are shit, which they are, because they are in the middle of a rebuild. Most teams are shit who are in the middle of rebuild. But genuinely, you don't have to tackle inside 50. Like, let's be honest, under no pressure, these guys were fucking up, the Eagles. But the boys still put that pressure on. And that is important, because when you come against the good teams, 20 tackles is going to bail you out of a lot of shit. So that was great to see them. Just remember, they ain't a sexy side. Like, I know the fans keep saying, why can't we play sexy football? players, if you're out there, ignore it. You aren't a sexy side. I'm okay with that because sometimes sexy isn't useful. Just be rugged, be ruthless, and that is who you are. You're never going to be a good kicking side. It's okay. I'm content with that. I've watched all of you fuckers play draft. No, I know what I was getting. This is what they are, and it was good to see. Really good to see going back to their one woods.
Yeah. Now what?
Well, now they've just got to back it up again.
Back it up
again. Next
What a
week, have the week off, have a coffee, then come back again. It's like simple. Just keep winning. It's not rocket science, but you know what? You're going to win more games than you lose if you play like that.
Yeah.
If you kick for territory, chase, tackle, chase, tackle, chase, tackle, you're going to win a lot more games. Don't know what Voss was doing over the last 6 weeks, dropping them back, trying to rely on the kicking skills. We talked about it last night at length, how we've depreciated. Don't know what Voss has watched in training. Fuck me, because they must play like fucking prime superstars in training, but that is what they're about. So next week, you're going against a very side that likes a bit of pressure. They ain't sexy. They're methodical workhorses too. Do that against them, then who knows? You know what? Who knows? Once you're in finals this season, finals are usually an exaggeration of the season. I reckon you're going to see a lot of fucking shocks in the finals. So go out there, make a shock happen. Be the shock.
True. Well, I'm sure that was a much better watch along to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Even though I'm fucking sick as a dog at the moment, it's easier to do a watch along when these fuckers win.
Yeah,
I mean, that helps.
That does help.
I mean, I needed that, but great performance, boys. Come back, do it again.
Love it.
Do it again.
Mate, love your work. Thanks for today. See you tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow. Thanks very much, everyone. See you soon.
Go Blues. See you, mate. Good stuff. Hey, Yuval, welcome to YouTube membership. Ben Leonard, he's been a 3-month member of the channel. How good was that? Connor, when can I join? Mate, the link is there. We'll be going for a couple of hours, I would have thought. So plenty of time. I've got a full waiting list at the moment, but we'll get you in. Ashton Moyer, goal of the year. It's pretty good. It's exactly what I think we all needed. Yasul Jim.
What's going on, man?
We needed that one, I think.
Mate, just a big pressure release, huh?
Yeah, just a deep breath.
Big
and
time.
A smile.
Yeah, needed a smile. Been a rough 6 weeks supporting the Baggers, but we love them, so is what it is, man. Can't change it. I'd love to talk about just this game in isolation, though. I don't believe we had any right to win this game. Actually, for the first time this year, I tipped against us, man. Bad supporter. I just couldn't see us scoring like 66 points, man. Like, I'm a pretty logical thinker when looking at it, but it was really hard to find a way for us to win. Hoping, obviously, you think in a positive way that Kemp will come out and kick 3 or 4 goals, because I imagine him or McGovern was going to go forward, but he actually did it. Our youth, they just come in and they just gave a fuck. They just tried all game, though, 4 quarters. That's probably maybe the most complete performance we've had all year. And I know people I'm already seeing being like, oh, who gives a shit? It's West Coast. We had literally no right to win this game. They have done some good teams over there this year. They're on a 2, I know it's not many games, but they've won 2 in a row. And we're on a 3-game losing streak. Finals on the line, huge pressure. The club keeps saying the same message, like, oh, we'll just keep going back. We've still got lots to play for. And we can't keep buying the same message. But the fact that they did it, I'm incredibly proud. I really am. I didn't think I would be. I try not to get invested today at all in this game. I sat there, obviously you care, but I just didn't want to get pissed off, like frustrated again. And the way that, West Coast started, I was like, But if you're a Bagger fan today, you've got to be proud of that. Like, what more do you want? Like, literally.
It was honestly, if you had have told me throughout the week, say Wednesday, I said, don't worry, guys, it's all right. Kennedy's going to kick 2. Kemp's going to kick 4. We're going to get 3 from Owies. Zach Williams will kick 1. Durden will kick 1. We'll get 1 from Motlop, Moya, and Binsey will kick 1 as well. I would have said, mate, honestly, give it up. Like, enough, It was the best case scenario, like a 10-plus
Really
goal
was.
win.
Mhm.
And I think it just goes to show and remind, like, why do we get mad? Why do we get invested? Why do we care? And I think Pommy just touched on it. It's because we know what they're capable of when they apply themselves like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I don't know what to think going into next week. I don't know if we will get anyone back. Obviously, the injury list is so long, it doesn't look like we will, but you never know. But it's in their hands, and that's all we could ask for going into the last round. Like, we don't have to want for it. Well, it'd be nice if Port win, but we don't have to want for that. Just get the job done. Like, do it yourselves. Earn it. Fucking earn it now. Because, like, just look at Cripper, man. Like, fucking hell. What a captain. Hewitt as well. Unbelievable today. He might get 3 today, Hewitt. I know that they probably give it to Cripper because Cripper, but fuck, I reckon Hewitt was best on. Unreal.
He was
buying space.
Yeah. Both of them, man. I mean, Cripps was, the thing about Cripps' game today, he didn't try and overstretch what he was. He still was handball heavy, just clear the ball when he needed to. I mean, Hewitt had the 10 tackles to go along with his 35. And you just started seeing these guys get confident in what they were doing. Brody Kemp, by the end of the game, it's like, oh, maybe he is a forward.
I think he is a forward. I don't know. He jumps at the ball.
Jumps like a forward.
He's a good kick. He jumps like a forward. He's a good kick. He's quick. He's actually quicker than a lot of people think.
Yeah.
He could be the answer, but oh man, just enjoy it, guys, because fucking hell, like, it's been rough, and it would have been an awful way to just lose our last 2 games of the year and just have like the biggest bust of a year ever. But now there's a slight glimpse, potential hope. So anyway,
love it.
Enjoy the rest of the cams, mate. Finally, a good one.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for calling in. Speak to you soon.
All good, man. Take care.
See ya. G'day, Joel. You're on mute, mate. I can't hear you. All right, we'll bring you back. We'll get you to sort that out, and then we'll bring you back. Hey, young Zach Borg.
Tez, how are we feeling, man?
7 days is a long time in football, my friend.
It's unbelievable, Tez. Oh, what a win, man! And honestly, Tez, this team, like, is just an unbelievable year. I mean, from the start, Tez, we were like in the forward line, like, just tall, that's all. How's that forward line going to work? But in that second quarter, we dominated. We figured out how we're going to play. Our Kemp's going to work. Our forward line's going to work, and it really, we really figured out. Kemp kicked 4. He absolutely dominated. Always kicked 4. I mean, was it 3 or 4?
Always kicked 3.
Yeah, 3, and then Kennedy was also amazing. Corey Durden, I mean, he'll be all right. He'll get his shoulder put back in, and he'll get his shoulder put. I think he got his shoulder put back in, so he'll be all right. He played a great game. Who else? I think Jack Cale played really well. I think everyone played well, but how good was our captain, Patrick Cripps? Honestly, did he have 40 or 35?
He had 35. Both he and George Hewitt had 35 today.
They were so good, eh? They were just unbelievable. I mean,
you right, Zach? No. All right. Well, there you go, Zach. Joel, we got you? No, mate. Your microphone's... I don't know what's going on here, mate. What's happened? We want to hear from you. All right. We'll get you back shortly, I guess. Mason,
Let's go, Tessa!
Ah.
Welcome back, mate. These are better conditions. We like these.
Much better conditions, mate. That was. I'm a bit shocked, to be honest. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, me too. Unlike the last guy, I did tip them, but I was nervous. This is a game where we should, like he said, we should have. I think we should have won, but not like that with who we had. Man, I want to start it off by saying how proud I am of these debutants, man.
Yeah.
Not a single one let me down at all throughout this whole game. It has been what a game. Wow.
Isn't it quite interesting that you've got all these senior guys that were playing in the team, and for whatever reason, the cohesion was not there, the connection wasn't there for whatever reason, maybe we'll find out one day. And then you bring in all these youngsters, you bring in a team that really collectively haven't played together much at all, and it just works, and it just clicks.
It looked natural, didn't it? It just looked so perfect, didn't it? Mate,
what do you think that's about? So let's unpack that. How do we not get that type of connection and collective commitment and focus when we've got a healthy list, and then when we're injured and we've got to bring in the workers, we see that?
You know what it is? We've got fresh legs, and they're young and they're hungry. They've got to fight for their spot on this team, mate. And did they do it? Boy, it's gonna suck to see them have to be replaced by some of the guys that get off of injuries next week, because mate, they played fantastic. Moore, what a goal from Moore! Oh my God, what a goal! And mate, Cooper Lord just everywhere, bins everywhere, unreal. Ollie, you know what? I'm not a fan of Ollie Hollins. He shocked me this week. This was a great game from Ollie Hollins. He like you said, he looked like a section leader this week. He did what he needed to do, and that's, mate, just me saying that coming out, those words coming out of my mouth. That's surprising. I was very, very impressed.
Man.
I don't really have anything bad to say about the team this week. It's gonna suck to see them get replaced, these first gamers, but mate, we've got a big game next week, and we need to win by a little bit. I think Collingwood are done, which makes me even more happy. They just pipped them on percentage, so stick that up yet, Collingwood. Have that.
No, it's good. It's all set up, man. It's all set up. Just win, and you play finals football. It's a really simple equation.
No room for failure anymore, boys. You can't let a single game slip from here on out. We have to.
And you know what? Let's just say we play with that type of commitment to the contest, right? And we lose. It is what it is. I'll almost cop it.
The better team wins.
Yep.
If that's the case, I think we're back, Tez. I think this is what we needed. We needed this little fire to start. Now we're gonna burn. Now we're gonna burn people. This is amazing. I'm very, very happy. I know it's against West Coast, and I know where they are, on the ladder in the comp, but a win like that over there with the team we had is impressive. I'm very happy. I'm very proud of the boys. If they're watching, fucking fantastic. Keep it up. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want to see.
That's it, mate. Go for it next week. We'll be there. We'll pack out that stadium. We will be there. There will not be a spare seat at Marvel next week. I guarantee it.
Our lives depend on it, and get around them, boys. Support them. This is the most important game of our season.
Amen. Mate, good to see you smiling. We'll touch base next week and see if we're playing finals.
Go Blues. We fucking love you, boys. Let's go.
See you, mate. Peter B.
Hey, how you going, man? What can I start? I went from a cheap collar PR stunt of the blue collar last week to true blue collar football. Finally.
That was blue collar football. It was. It wasn't pretty. It was just hard, contested commitment.
Good. I like it. What more can I say, man? Cooper Lord, keep him in the side, man. Keep him in the side.
Yeah. What do you make of that? Because, I mean, I don't even
I've
know
seen
who's
the
available next week.
I've seen the VFL highlights. I haven't seen the VFL extensively, but based on those highlights,
Yeah.
kind of I don't know if he plays like Stewart. I don't know if he plays like who's the other? And also Beans. I thought first half, okay, but in that second half, he showed something.
Well, they had no choice but to just
No
trust
choice.
each other.
Exactly.
And just let it play out. And then once Bin's got the hang of it, you could just see him growing confidence. I think after he kicked his goal, really, then all of a sudden he became the Jackson Bins that had been playing in that way in the VFL, and thought it was cool that Ollie helped set up his goal as well. I thought that was a nice little touch, and he was the first one to get around him. So
absolutely,
these are important pieces to the puzzle move, not only for this year, but moving forward. And I think they all showed enough, really.
I think the first time in that ball line that instead of the one handball more, instead of the one kick more, instead of stuffing around, we actually got it in there sharp to the point.
Mate, next week, what does it look like? Whoa.
I reckon if we play like we play, I know it's West Coast Eagles, I know that bottom four, but if we play like that, we've got a chance. No ifs, no buts. Whatever happens, happens.
True. Don't go out there without giving it every last inch of effort, right?
Exactly.
Good on you. Peter, you know what?
Thanks,
I think we might have met for the first time after a St Kilda game, funnily enough. 2019, I reckon that was the first time.
Yeah, that's
you were wearing the Make Carlton Great Again hat.
I think maybe Teek's number on the back, man. I'll put that one in the bin. That's in the bin.
Amazing. Good on you, Peter. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Go Blues. Cheers,
Go
mate.
Blues. Joel, we got you, mate. Are you on a laptop or in? No, you're on a PC, computer. So you might want to go bottom right screen or go into StreamYard, and you need to go to your output. All right, we'll come back to you. Zach, we'll finish you off, mate. What's up?
Tez, just sorry about the connection trouble. Just saying, it was just a great effort from the boys. I think we really saw, Jackson Bins, once he got settled into the game, he was absolutely unbelievable. And Cooper Lord, Ashton Moy getting that goal, it was great. And our Cripps, our captain, absolute beast too. I mean, I reckon he's got the Brownlow wrapped up now. And I loved the response. Vossi came out and said, we're going to respond. We're going to, with the players that they come in, we're going to use what we have, and then they bring it, Terry. And I think, bro, I just think that our midfield destroyed him today. George Stewart and was just another. Just he was so good today. He was so composed. Everyone played well, Terry. Even Lewis Young. Now, what I liked about Lewis Young today, Terry, is he played his role. Okay, he's very, very solid. Right? I mean, he did give away a goal, which I think was a bit, it was
I thought that was really stiff. I thought that was a really stiff call.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a very stiff call. Yeah. But I think he was very solid, and it'll probably be his last game, I'm sorry to say, but he was great, Terry. And I think in the coming future, I think he's a great backup player, and I just loved his performance today. And our defense was good. Everything that I saw today, Terry, is just what makes us great. And next week, I reckon Mackay will be back, Kerno will be back, and I know people have been a bit worried about Zach Williams. He's just got a cramp. I don't think it's too serious. How did you see that, Terry? Did you see that?
I'll tell you how I saw it. I thought it was just on brand for Carlton. So initially they're like, all right, well, Zach, the commentators were saying, looks like he's hurt his back. And then Kath Lofton is like, oh, well, yeah, news coming out that he's actually done his hamstring. And then minutes later, she comes back and says, oh, bit of miscommunication here. Actually, it's just a cramp. And I'm like, that's so
Wait, what's going on? Does he have 3 different things anyway? I tell you, I reckon that both Corey Durden and Zach Williams we're both fine. I mean, I don't reckon Jack Martin should come back in next week. Like, listen, I reckon Jack Carroll was really good today at half forward and Jackson Binns. So we'll see what call Vossi makes there if they're going to bring Jack Martin back in. But the Blues are back, Terry. Go Blues.
Go Blues, Zachy. See you
Blues
next
are back.
week, mate.
Back in the 8. Where we belong. See you, Tez.
See you, mate. Amazing. Hey, I got a bit of room in the waiting room if you guys want to jump in and have your say. Aiden, hello, mate.
Hello.
How you feeling after that one?
Yeah, pretty good. I didn't watch the first half because I was working, but I watched the second half, and yeah, that's our brand. That's how we should be playing footy. We're not this turnover pretty side. We're this hard, tough, contested cunt of a team. So, yeah, that's how we should be playing. So, yeah, I felt like everyone played their role today pretty good. Everyone, yeah, just needed to do what they needed to do, and that's about it. I was really happy with Moya getting his first goal, and also Cooper Lordy did pretty well also. So, yeah, if we just play like that, then we're a sniff for next week, obviously.
Absolutely, mate. When we played that brand, that hard edge and that focus, yeah. For me, it's honestly, I know the result looks great and it's 10 goals and it looks great. I promise it was more about the method today and the way in which they played. I think we all have watched this team long enough to know when they're focused and when they're all connected with one another and when they're not. So to see that again for 4 quarters, the connection together, linking up on the same page, yeah, and the rest sort of takes care of itself.
Yeah, I know. I feel like this result, obviously, it's against West Coast, like they're a bottom 4 team, but I feel like it will give the boys some confidence for next week, because even Cripps mentioned it as well, that brand of footy stacks up regardless of finals or not. So hopefully we turn up like that next week. And if I'm being honest with you, obviously I'd bring back Charlie and Harry, but if they're not fit, then just keep the team how it is. So, yeah, but other than that, needed to get that done. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll be going next week because I have work, but I'll try and sort something out.
Take it off, mate. Come on. It's the biggest game of the year.
I'll try and sort something out. Lou Felina actually knows my manager, so we'll see. We'll see.
Inshallah, you'll be there.
Hopefully. My dad was at WA. He was at the game before. So, yeah. Just win next week, please. And we've knocked Collingwood out, by the way. They're not playing finals. They can't. So, yeah.
Good luck to them. They can watch us next week. Aiden, good to see you, mate. See you hopefully. No, we will. We'll see you next Sunday here on the fan cams.
Yeah, you will see me. You will see me here next Sunday on the fan cams screaming. Outside, not in the house.
Can't wait.
Or on the train.
On the train, yeah, true. Call me when you get home so you're not waiting on the train.
All good. All right, see ya.
All right, mate. Bye. How good. All right. Jeff from Thailand. Hello, mate.
How are you, Terry and Baggers? What a day.
Mate, yeah, it was a good day. I think it was a much needed watch for all of us.
I think it's like we've been in a 3-year forward movement, and I think Nick Austin's done well and got some really good kids in. And what I did notice today, Terry, was all the others stepped up because of the new boys. Binzi, Lordy in the guts, right? And when Ashton Moyer come on, it was exciting, wasn't it? It was like you could feel the buzz. How did Lockie Cowan play, you know? And Kempy's always a forward. I said it a couple of weeks ago to Pom in Pom's chat. You know, like you throw him forward. Throw him forward. He's a magnificent forward. And look, he just falls into the right place, marks the ball, kicks the goals. He's a beauty, you know. And Dirds, see, that forward line today is well balanced with Kempy going for the ball and the small forwards doing their thing. You got Ollie Hollands and Elijah Hollands throwing stuff in, Binzi staying wide. poor old Pommy, bless him, he's very sick, sounded very sick today, but he was extremely excited. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed listening to Pommy and watching the game. I thought it was fantastic. It's like a bit of a new era, Terry. What do you reckon?
Mate, we're changing the game one little bit at a time. We need as many of the supporters who are watching this to hit the subscribe button. That'll help us get a long way. But yeah, it is a different experience. I think especially for someone like you who's not in Australia, not in a football environment, to be able to stay connected to it, you know?
Well, you know, I come through the golden years and went to a lot of footy, played footy, and you know, I got a lot of enjoyment out of Carlton. And I was in the past players. I used to go there quite a bit. I was all involved in corporate with business. And, you know, like Ken Hands and Sheldon and all them, and Marku, Jezza, and all them, they'd come in the past players. I'd go there every week. Princess Park, put the suit on, go into the Heatley stand. Mate, it was fantastic. And we come through all that, and there was a bit of soul back in the club today. I felt, you know, like, you know what I mean. It was a bit different.
Do you know why? Because I had to roll the fucking sleeves up and get the blue collar work ethic back. That's why.
It was really like fun. They had fun, you know, like they bloody geez. Pitnet played out of his skin today. I was bagging the shit out of him, you know, but I take my hat off to Pitto today. He played a good hard game. He fed the boys well. The Hollands brothers, my goodness, you know, and Newman, Cowan, Lockie Cowan's really matured this year. He needs a Rising Star nomination. And the kick on that fella, his balance, he's got more time with the ball now. He doesn't panic with the ball anymore. Youngie comes in and does a roll and supports, you know, Weeders. I thought that was really good. The small forwards, Kempy up there, Cripper running through. Poor old Sammy Walsh, he's been double tagged. You know, like he needs to change position. Something I don't know what we've got to do because they're nailing him big time. Good handballs. Jack Carroll come in. I've been a fan of Jack Carroll. He always gets loose with the ball. He spins out of things and he gets the ball out. He doesn't get trapped. And that's the difference between him and Sam Walsh. Sammy's getting trapped at the moment. He's got to work it out. But Carroll gets the ball loose. And they get this roll on, and they're looking for each other. What about when we get Lemmy in there and a few others? Ashton Moyer. I was pissed off he was on the bench, actually. But, look, it worked out good, eh? You know, well, it worked out good.
Footy job him before they subbed him on. You just saw him. He's just this young kid smiling. Like
he looked like a kid. He looked like a schoolboy. Oh, I'm going on.
We haven't had that energy in this team for a little while now, like that, just that genuinely excited energy. And then when he took his first mark on that half forward flank,
fantastic mark.
And away he goes, you know?
Yeah, he's in. And who said they weren't ready? They all said, oh, they're not ready. They need another 6 months. Bullshit. Get them in there. They're ready. The way they're playing in the VFL, mate, they're playing better footy than the ones, mate. Absolutely. But, okay, next week's a test. St Kilda's come out of the box. Hey, I reckon they'll step up. Rest those guys that are injured. Get the new blokes in. Give them a chance. You know, it's only going to happen in second or third week of the finals. If these guys get more games under the belt, it's a different Carlton, isn't it? They won't know how to counter Carlton with this new look because we're moving the ball smooth. We're staying wide. We're crossing. We're going inside. It was great. Kempy and Kennedy were marking the ball and the forward lines come to the ground. The small forwards are doing the job. Loved it.
Yeah,
really good, and great call from Pommy. He was going off today. He loved it. He was in his element because he loves the young blokes. You know. Yeah, it was really good.
It was good. Yeah, I think just for everyone, the whole club, players, staff. You know, we had a bad one last week, and it was just bad for a number of reasons, and we're all a little bit feeling it a little bit.
We lost our way. We're all a bit down, and they've opened it up, put that in. Okay, that's what we've got. Well done, everyone. Well done, baggers. Thanks, Terry. Great stuff. Thanks, Pommy, for your call. And g'day, Gavin. I'll see you soon, mate. I hope I might even be there next week. I'm not sure yet. But we'll see what goes down.
Amazing. Good on you, Jeff. Thanks, mate.
Have a good week. Look forward to next week. Thank you very much. Take care now.
See ya. Good man, Jeff, calling all the way from Thailand. Busy boy, that Moya goal was something. That was something. Paul Hill, at least Jake's smug smile won't be as big this week. That's going to be fun. Lachlan has gifted 6 Blue Abroad YouTube memberships. If you're one of those 6, make sure you get around Lachlan and let him know. All right, who have we got? Joel, we're going to try again, mate. Let's see if we can get you in here. Are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you loud and clear, Joel.
Oh, fuck yes. You're all important. You're all important, Joel. All right. No. That was good. So, I mean, the big elephant in the room for me, Terry, is still Harry McKay. We play a lot better without the bloke there, I tell you that. Can't argue with that. So it's interesting. He's going to have to. We'll see what happens. It's a plot twist, that's for sure, isn't it? Mm.
I've got a question, right? So, why is it that when Harry and Charlie are not there, we lower our eyes when kicking inside 50? Why does that happen? Because that's exactly how we enter the ball inside 50. It looked like we learn immediately.
We actually just have a look who's available to kick to, as opposed to just the stock standard fit it to the guy with the big ego. So yeah, look, it was great. It was fantastic. I thought Moya brought a little bit of presence, a bit of like the bloke. I think he. Look, one game we won't say too much, but it was. I liked the look. Lord was great. So it was an interesting. Interesting psychological experiment today.
Going into the game, where were you this morning when you woke up and you're like, all right, I'm going to tune in at 4:40? Where were you at in terms of what you thought might have happened?
Well, I thought, look, I'm not going to bail out. I've lasted this whole fucking season, and I thought, look, we're still in with it. So I actually felt like, look, I was sort of not too. I was a little bit optimistic. I thought, well, I didn't know. Look, this team can just, you don't know, that we're the most. And then they say it's an unpredictable season, but I think, it's just bizarre. It's a lot of it's up between the years, I think. I tuned in. A friend said, come round. Another friend around the corner, and he said, come round at halftime. And I said, oh, no, I'm happy staying here. Thanks for the offer. But so I watched it, and what else do I have to say about it? It was kind of like West Coast didn't even have a ruckman today. It was like unnoticed, their ruckman.
Yeah, I think the criticism of Pitto was that we just didn't see Pitto playing with any juice or force or dominance, and he looked just like a man. They all did.
He did.
It's funny when you're forced into a corner. You've got so many of your mainstay players out. You got so many kids, and then the kids that have been playing. I'm talking about the Ollie Hollands and the Cowans and these type. They all of a sudden have to assume more responsibility, and something really funny happens when you give people responsibility. They can sometimes thrive under it.
It's interesting. Look, two things just came to my mind. So first thing is, I think I was going to say, so the psychological thing. It's just that was the overarching thing for me. I think it was kind of like, well, fuck, we just have to change things up a bit, and obviously with the conclusions in the team, and I think it was worked out really well. I think it was do or die, and that was just the different, and the pressure was actually on West Coast. So it was just an interesting psychological experiment, as I said, and wasn't just to go back to McKay, I think, because it's just something I was honing on, but he had a few games out. Was it last year or the year before when we actually won a few games without him? Was that? Am I imagining that, or was
Well, he missed a couple after Port. He
I
got
think it was
injured
2 years
against
ago?
Port.
Oh,
He got injured against Port last year at Marvel. Missed maybe 3 or 4.
correct. Yeah.
But the reality was that Charlie then started getting double teamed and triple teamed, and
Well, that's it. He
struggled
played.
a
They
bit.
said they were saying but they were saying Charlie played better without Harry, which was the case, I think. Would you? I mean, that was the sort of the takeaway. Well, he played. He definitely kicked quite a few goals. I can remember. I think. So for me, look, look, it's hard to sort of falsify, I guess, my point. I mean, for me, it's still I've got this sort of thing about Harry, and I think I don't know. It's just interesting, but anyway, it's just good. It's good to be on the winning. It's good to be on the winning. Have a win, and look, I think we should roll Saints because they got. I mean, we've got everything to play for, and they haven't. So if that's the way, we could be making not to get too far ahead, but we could be making a finals meeting again with Brisbane up there. Is that
one contest at a time, mate. One contest.
No, I
at a time.
know. But that could be an interesting other plot twist. All right. Well, yeah. So I'm unexpectedly happy, which is good, and I'll take it.
Amazing, mate. We'll see you next Sunday.
I'll have a haircut. Thank you.
All right, mate. Ciao. Oh God. Todd has donated 125. I believe that's Philippine pesos. Love your stuff. Subscribe, member all season. Living in Cebu and love my Navy Blues, mate. Love that. Thanks for tuning in, Todd. Hey, young Miller. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
How about the Blues today?
Yeah, I think we played pretty good today.
What was your summary of what you saw?
Well, Kemp played a pretty good game today.
Yeah.
And I was pretty happy when Binns and Moya kicked their first goal.
It was exciting to see some youngsters come in and show what they've got, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Are you confident that we can get the job done next week?
Yeah.
Are you going to be there next week?
Yes, I am.
You make sure Dad takes you and make sure you enjoy yourselves and make sure that you have no voice when you come back home and get on these fan cams, right? Who was your player of the game? You did mention Brody Kemp. Was he your player of the game?
No.
Who was your player of the game?
Patrick Cripps.
Oh, wasn't he special?
Yeah.
Amazing. What about who else haven't we not mentioned? Who else do you think needs a mention that maybe doesn't get spoken about too much?
I think Wiedering did pretty good today as well.
He did. He's so reliable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, Miller, thanks for calling in. Hope you enjoyed the game and hopefully we can win next week and play finals football.
Yeah.
Flaggers?
Is that Dad?
That's
Yeah.
Dad. I'm trying to get in. There we go.
Here he is.
Are we flaggers or what?
Oh, look, we've got 5 more wins to go. We could be.
Yeah. So Ivan jumped on. Just a quick thing. Why is it that when we've got no forward line, we lower eyes and we kick to space? Like the first time all year, that's the first thing I said to all mates. We've got no common medalists. We've got no Martin. We've got no Fogg. We've got no forward line, and we kick to space and we lower eyes. It's amazing, isn't it? Amazing what happens.
It's the biggest unknown of this team. It really is.
Imagine we played like that. We entered forward line like that with our normal forward line.
And the crazy part is you've got Charlie who attracts 2 defenders every time.
It's wild. Charlie goes one way kick to the open space on the other side where there's 3 free Blues players because there's 17 defenders on Harry and Charlie. Like, they should be used as decoys almost half the time.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, we should
is.
not, that forward line should not be kicking 100 points against anyone.
True. Wow, that forward line kicked 14 goals, 15 today.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Mate, that should not be happening. I know it's Eagles and but it's still at home. Anyway, my biggest thing at the moment is, I don't know, I didn't really watch the game too much because I was making dinner and everything, bad time and everything. But he tagged a lot or something like that?
Yeah, he battled. He battled. He's always, he just doesn't seem to have the same burst through the body, which I think we all know why. I mean, he had back surgery. He's had an interrupted preseason. We're getting towards the pointy end of the year and looks like he needs a rest, but we're going to win. So.
Yeah, because he got dumped by Harley Reid a couple of times, didn't he? Bit of the don't argues.
Got the fend off as well. So
yeah.
It's a good player, Harley Reid.
He needs a week. Hopefully he gets a week and I don't know, obviously we've got to play next week. Next week is the big one.
So I just telling Miller, so she's told me that you're both going. So I just want you to confirm that.
We'll go. I think we'll go. I mean, we haven't got tickets or anything, but I think we'll just scan in and we'll just
make it
my brother's got the seats on centre wing, so we just sort of sneak in there with his seats and tickets and stuff as well. So I think we'll be right. We'll go.
Amazing. Miller, before I let you go, can you give me a prediction for what happens next week?
Carlton win by 19 points.
19 points against the Saints. I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it. All right, guys. You have a good night. Go Blues. Little champion. How good's that? Hey, Callum, thanks for the 99 cents, mate. Johnny Holden, you are here.
Oh, that was a good win. Not getting too overexcited at the moment.
No.
I mean, perspective is a good thing. I mean, it's great to win, and you can only beat who you come up against. But perspective's definitely got to be put in place here. The thing with the forward line, look, going back to like when I grew up, like in the 70s, we never had a key forward, and one of the big things that we had was like the mosquito fleet. Everyone knows about the mosquito fleet. And part of that was what we saw today. They never had a key forward. It was everybody who was in the best position fired. So one week Sheldon kicked 6, the next week Katoggio kicked 5, so there was never a key forward. The problem you find when you have a key forward in your side is your focal point. And 90% of all traffic will go to your focal point. When he's not there, it's okay, let's look for the best option. And this is the problem we have when we've got Charlie there or Harry. They're the focal point. So that answers that question. If you look at most sides who don't have a key forward, they mix it amongst themselves, who's in the best spot, who's the best option, not who's the main option. So that's what happens a lot of the time there, and sometimes it's a good thing, but other times it can be it can destroy you because, like you said before, people double and triple team Charlie. The problem is the players need to be smart enough to go, okay, Charlie's been double teamed, let's hit up Kemp or let's hit up Owies. Stop looking for bloody the double team all the time, but it becomes instinctive that you are looking towards, so it becomes a habit, and that happens a lot. Like I've heard from key forwards that's the reason why it happens. So that's a hindrance, but it's also a good thing because there's nothing better in AFL when Charlie's up in full flight. Like it's the best thing to see. So you got to rob Peter to pay Paul sometimes.
Because I got into today before the game and I thought, gee, I think we're all going to be reminded just how valuable Harry and Charlie are. And they are. But I think the big lesson I learned today is how important it is that when they're back, we don't resort back to what kind of got us into the hole. And then I look back at our best footy this year. It's when we had 10, 11 goal kickers, individual goal kickers. That's when we were playing our best football this year, I think. So there's a lesson in it for everyone involved.
Like, I don't know if it's a directive or if it's just dumb football or just inexperienced football, but like through my time watching footy, like most of the times, if you had a good centre half forward, full forward combination, one would lead right, one would lead left, one would go forward, one would hang back. We have a problem where Harry and Charlie go for the same ball, and quite often they get in each other's way. And like Charlie at the moment, now I don't know whether his ankle is that stuff where he can't run, but I was watching some earlier stuff on Charlie today when he was younger, like 21, 2020, 2021, around that era, and 19. He was so mobile. He was like Kemp. You watch him now, and he's like Plugger. He doesn't move. He sits in that forward hole and tries to outmuscle. So, is that a mindset for him? Is it a directive from the coaches that he's to stay forward and not to lead out? Because he's so mobile and athletic, and he's like a small forward, but he's 6'4". He's just so versatile on the ground. Yet you don't see that best part of him. Now you go back and watch some of the early stuff this year. He was that mobile forward. He wasn't sitting at home trying to outmuscle everyone. So it tells me that it's an injury, or it can't be like a form. It's
Well,
a
he's
real
rolled it.
injury.
He's rolled that ankle 3 times. I reckon he did it against North first. I reckon he rolled it again against Port Adelaide, and then he
Yep.
obviously did it again warm up of the Giants game.
Yeah. So if that's what's hindering him, you go, okay, fair call. You know, I'll give you the out. Harry, I don't know about Harry. Like Joel said before, like sometimes Harry can be, you know, he can be Wayne Carey, and then other times he can be Aaron Mullet. And you just go, you don't know what you're going to get with him, and that's the problem. I love Harry, don't get me wrong, I really do, but sometimes you just go, what are you doing? You know, I know he's 6'8", and there's not a lot of oxygen up high. You know, air's a bit thin, but you just shake your head and just go, come on, man. But like, I'm not getting too carried away. It was awesome to see the young kids. That's what I was very, very happy to see. I'd love to see Kempy stay up forward as that third option. Jack Martin's done. Put him on ice. If he gets injured, we're going to get less for him. So my theory is a fit Jack Martin's going to get us at least a 4th round draft pick as opposed to nothing. So keep him on ice. He's just, yeah. Let's try Kemp. I was impressed with Young. Now, I'm not a big Young fan. I'm one of his biggest detractors. I'm not a big fan of him, but he played well today. I thought he was stiff with that marking contest. And that was the only blemish he really had. And even then, I thought it was a poor umpiring decision. I mean, he hit
Shocking.
the ball. Yeah. It was a 50-50. If they're going to pay that one way, pay it the next, going the other way. I'm happy. If you're going to pay it all day long. No problem. It'd be great to see if we can get Young to sort of get that confidence back like we had him in 2022, because that'll allow Kemp to go forward, because Lockie Cowan looks like he's nailed that back spot. He just looks so cool and calm. Kempy gets lost in traffic. When he goes, he see ball, get ball, and he forgets that he's a defender. And quite often you see him up half forward, and it goes out the back, and you think, how the hell did we get 3-on-1? And it's 9 times out of 10, it's because Kemp's opponent hangs back, and while Kempy sort of follows the ball. So him going forward, I thought was really, really good. And I'd like to see how he went, how he would go with it with a 2 key forwards and him being a third hit up option. It's something to look at. I mean, because we need to do something if Jack Martin's not available.
Mate, it's just so funny. Every time we get these injury holes, we find something.
Yeah.
But when we're healthy, we're not able to find these solutions. I think Zach Williams was is one of those situations. Kemp, I think we all knew had the ability to play forward at some point. It was always going to happen at some point in his career. Whether he stays forward or not, I don't know. The coaches will do their thing, but good to know that he's got the versatility.
Absolutely. Like the one thing I notice, and I know through watching a lot of football, is these players who are lesser known players, they'll walk over broken glass to get that opportunity. And they'll try and take it with two hands. They give 100% effort. These players who have made it, they also have this philosophy in the back of their head, I've made it, and they're a little bit more relaxed about it. They don't have that hunger. Look at Stringer at Essendon. When he plays on the contract year, he's all Australian. You give him a 3-year contract, he goes walkabout for 2 years. The guy's an absolute spastic. He's a spud and a half. But that last year when he's got to fight for his contract, all of a sudden he's almost all Australian caliber. So that hunger and that passion that you see a lot of these guys who don't get that opportunity and want to make something of it, they grasp it with two hands and they'll do that. They'll fight to survive. Where if you've got a meal on the plate every day, it's lethargic. You got to go hunt and gather and find your food. You're an animal. You will walk over broken glass to find it. And that's what happens with a lot of these young kids. It's the same as coaches. Coaches who you find are superstar coaches never make good coaches. It comes natural to them. It's given to them. Every game is given to them. You find someone who's an absolute gun coach, Damien Hardwick, Alistair Clarkson, Simon, they were not gun footballers. They were battlers who had to battle every game that they needed to play. So it's the same philosophy with a lot of the lesser lights, not the superstars. Because you got superstars, then you got the ones that have made it, and then you got the battlers. And the battlers sometimes are the ones that, they will give you every little bit. And we saw that today, with, I thought Binns coming into his own. Very impressed with Ollie Lord. He just looked Cooper Lord, sorry.
Cooper?
He
Yeah.
looked absolutely sensational. And Ashton, well, I mean, he never got much of an opportunity, but very impressed with how he presented. He wasn't flustered. He took the game on, so he wasn't lost like a deer in the headlights. So, no, it was good. It was good. The only disappointment was seeing Corey sort of do his shoulder, which was a bit of a bummer because
It was a bummer.
he looked like he was coming into it, and he was everywhere. It was like, this is Corey from last year and the year before. He's finally getting a run at it and does his shoulder, and you're just like, serious? The kid can't.
I mean,
trick.
he can't take a break. I mean, it's probably definitely his best game of the year. He rolled the dice with the shoulder as well. He hurt it a few weeks ago in the VFL and rolled the dice with it. So yeah, these guys put their bodies on the line, and hopefully it's not as bad. But I mean, he did his job. That's for sure.
Yeah, he was great. Ollie Hollands, I thought he was just absolutely everywhere. There was 3 of him out there today, and his second and third efforts. I mean, I know sometimes his delivery can let him down, but you go run 16 kilometers and tell me that you're going to hit someone on the tit every time with the ball, and you watch him, and he'll do up and back, doesn't break, gets the ball, has a kick, it misses by a couple of meters, and everyone jumps on his back. It's like, are you serious? Yeah. You go run up and down, about a kilometer, and then see how good you're going to kick the ball. So I think people just need to put perspective. If he was a half forward just sitting at home doing nothing and he disposed like that, absolutely, get into him. But he's a winger that travels more than anyone else in the AFL. Like he's top 2, top 3 every week for distance covered. So, but no, it was a good game. You're always happy with a win. An ugly win's better than a pretty loss, but this was a good win. So I'll take it every day of the week.
Mate, big one next Sunday, 3:20 p.m.
Yeah, look, if we bring the same intensity and effort, that's all we ask for. Whether we beat them or not, I don't know. Because St Kilda are the AFL roadblock. That's what we call them. They are the roadblock. They can come out and they can send you on a long way around, or they'll let you through. You just don't know with them. So I think we should be all right if we bring that effort and that consistency and that game plan where we lower our eyes and we look for a best option, not the option, or the key point, so to speak. So fingers crossed.
Very good. John Holden, good to talk to you, mate.
Always, buddy. You have a good night, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.
Sounds good. Go Blues,
Okay,
mate.
buddy. Go
See ya.
Blues. Bye.
Ari Stamatakos on the fan cams.
I'm back.
How are you, mate?
I'm good. Long time no see through this meeting.
Yeah, I must say, I don't see you around these parts after games these days.
No, well, over the last 2 months, it's because I've just been not in the right mental state. But I thought we won. I'll bring some positive vibes. It's good.
Yeah, man. We were battling on Wednesday to get through that show.
Oh yeah, we certainly were. But we're here now, 4 points richer.
Yeah,
a place in the top 8, and yeah, fuck. There we go.
What do you make of it? What you saw? Like, I mean, does it give you confidence that they found themselves again? Or I mean, it's so funny that we win the way we win, and immediately it's just West Coast. But pre-game it was, wow, we're going to be slogging it out for a 1-goal win today if we're lucky.
Yeah. The win is impressive. I thought the way that we played was impressive, regardless of the opposition. It was tough. It was selfless, which is two things that we probably haven't said about the way the Carlton played over the last 2 months. So it was a welcome change. But yeah, it is very much I don't think you can take a lot out of it because of the injuries and obviously the injuries that we had, and this won't be the team. Should we make finals, this probably won't be the team that we're going to field in the first week. So the way that we played will probably be a little bit different, or at least try to be a little bit different. And then, of course, West Coast, so you can only take as much into that as you can. But we needed to win, and based on how we played the last 2 months, I don't think many people were confident West Coast were going in the favourites for probably good reason, considering they've won more games in the last 2 weeks than we have in the last 2 months. So there's that. But yeah, no, good, professional, solid win, mature win. Leader stepped up. Cripps was great. Hewitt was great. Weering was great when he was called upon. And then the people who needed to step up to win us the game, like your Kemps, and I thought Cowan was great, and Durden before he went off, and then these players who had to do a job, did their job, and yeah, what can you want?
Mate, absolutely. You look like you need a lay down, mate. You're a bit sick.
As I said, I've got a massive headache. Like, it's astounding how much my head hurts right now.
From celebrating and cheering on the win, or you just had a big weekend, or
see, when you work as hard as me, it catches up to you. Mate, that's just a cold hard fact of life.
Well, Ari, I'm here for it, mate.
No, I'm joking. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just like halfway through the day at like 3 o'clock. I just got a massive headache, but I'm right. I'm okay. About 3.
Well, I'll see you Wednesday night, my friend.
Yes, which I was going to say, well, should results have gone differently, I probably would have come on here and said, come and tune in for the final show of the season. But you'd hope that we have at least one more reflections after Wednesday.
Could be our last reflections, mate. We've got to do our show like it's a do or die situation, because that's what it is.
Because they better play on Sunday like it's a do or die situation, because it is.
Yeah. Are you ready to go to Marvel next Sunday, mate?
I'm scared, but I'll be there, of course.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you there.
Ciao, my friend.
All right, mate. Bye. Hey, Pat.
G'day, Tez. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Long time, first time, mate. How you going?
I'm good. Yeah, I don't think I've seen you on the fan cams before.
No, I've been watching them for a lot of years, but I thought I'd get on today and say g'day and see what's happening. But I got more questions than answers, to be honest.
Yeah, let's unpack them. What have you got?
Well, I'm not the obviously not Nostradamus, but the game style that we play, is it too taxing? Is it too hard to continue that for 28 weeks? Are we, when we're good, we're good. We're unbeatable. But when we're not good, we look tired and horrible. And you bring the kids in today, and it's amazing. Like, bit of energy, something different. That Moya, even though he was only in there for a quarter, he's got Zaz. He's got Charlie Curnow Zaz. He's good. That Binns, maybe Pom's right. He's hot and cold. That Lord, loved him. Reckon he was great. But what are we? Are we like Pom says? Are we hard nosed, work hard, tackle, chase, pressure? I personally don't believe that you can play that for 24 rounds. What do you think, Tess?
I think that's the way you got to win a flag.
Yeah, right.
I think as you get, from what I've watched, the deeper into a season you get, and the more you get into finals football, the game becomes less flashy and more about will and determination and moments and contests, one-on-ones and those sorts of things. So I think it stacks up. I mean, it does stack up. It stacked up last year, and we made a prelim playing that style. Can you play that bruising style for, you're right, for 28 weeks? Probably not. And then I think you add the other layer to the question, which is, this is arguably the most even season that we've had in a really long time until this point in the year. So it can look really good. It can look really bad really quickly. You can be 6th, you can be 9th in a matter of 2-3 weeks. And so is that just because we've got such a good league? Or is that just because it's...
Well, the question, it's a question. I know this isn't the time for it, but it's the question that I ask myself all the time. I think, are we, with the list that we have, I would take our list over 90% of the list in the league. But again, like going back to, everybody says some of our coaching, some of our game style, I don't believe that this brand that we play, if we could bring Charlie, like everyone was saying, you take Charlie out, you take Harry out, and then all of a sudden that we look like we lower our eyes. But they're the 2 best forwards in the league. They're the reigning Coleman medalists. Like, Charlie doesn't get injured and doesn't do an ankle. He's ridden in 3 Colemans in a row. That's unbelievable. How can we not use him better? I mean, I don't want to be negative. It's a win, like it's grouse, and I reckon that we can actually get over St Kilda, and I think that we maybe, who knows what happens in the finals. Like you said, that brand stacks up in finals, but the question is, can you continue with the same style that we have forever and ever? Do we need to bring? I understand, like, we were trying to defend before, and everybody was putting it on us and saying, "Oh, we're moving the ball slow." I think they're trying to bring a different style of football so that they can, I don't know, withstand or hold energy, so that then they can burst again. Like I'm like I said, it's stupid, but I think I've got more questions than answers. Like I don't know what we are.
Yeah, I mean, look, we definitely needed to add a layer to our game this year, which was the turnover game. And then I think we did maybe too much. And then it just seems like you just got to try and find that right balance and put it all together. I think last year we got ourselves in a hole, and then everyone had to commit to that contest and pressure. And that's absolutely everyone. And so all these quote unquote stars, these brand names, they were all working extremely hard. And then for some reason, that work ethic just dipped 2 months ago. For even just 5%, it dipped. It dipped by 5 or 6%, and that is all it takes to lose a game. And then obviously last week was probably was worse, and it looked worse because of the injuries, and that just made compounded everything. Not to say that we wouldn't have lost.
But Hawthorn always going to do what they did to us considering that they were going to run the way they did. I know, again, sometimes we look slow and the ball moves faster than the foot speed, but I had that inkling early that Hawthorn were going to run us off our feet, and it looked like we were, let's be honest, before the injuries came, we never looked like we were really in the contest.
No, 100%. And wasn't it funny today? You see Carlton running and carrying, bouncing the football.
Unbelievable.
So
Unbelievable.
does that mean we're
It's
quick?
chalk and cheese.
You know, does that mean we've got speed now because we saw some run and carry? And I
But
don't
is that
know.
because the kids, Tez? Is
Yeah.
that the kids bringing, like, in my mind, I don't know yours, obviously you follow it a lot harder than everybody else, but in my mind, I actually thought today's going to be a good day because the kids are going to bring the hunger, and then that therefore brings the hunger amongst the older blokes, and then the contest and pressure comes back again. But like I keep going back to, is that sustainable?
It's the big question, mate. I feel like the more football I watch and the more in depth I feel like I'm watching it, the less I know about this game.
100%.
Just when I thought,
but
honestly,
then, I mean, if you were to say to anybody, can I give you Harry and Charlie? No team in the league would say no.
No.
Not one. We have the best two forwards in the game. Aside none. Yet Jeremy Cameron's good. Jesse Hogan's good. But Harry can mark it from anywhere, and Charlie's a freak. Yet we cannot deliver the football. What is going on? Like, explain. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a lesson they've got to learn. And the crazy part is, if they do learn it, and we get these guys back in, I don't know what the injury status is going to be next week, or
I
if
think
we
Kemp
win.
has to play forward, even with Charlie and Harry, because it's a good foil. Kemp can take a mark. He can also, and like I think it was Johnny that said previously, he's not a defender because he doesn't understand that he needs to, when the ball hits the ground, wrong side of our line, then he needs to defend and he needs to push to the next bloke. When he's in the forward line, that doesn't matter. All he's got to do is lay a hand on somebody. He can take a specky. He can kick a goal. I think Kemp's a forward. I don't know who we replace him with, but he's a forward.
Yeah. Well, it's an ace up our sleeve now. I think that's the best we've seen Kemp. I'm trying to think, have we played him at forward many times?
I can't
in
remember
his
seeing him
career?
forward, but
He kicked a goal against West Coast last year, or I think it was. But I don't think we've committed to him in a game as a forward as long as what we did today.
I was extremely derogatory, I think is the word, of him as a backman because he just looks unaccountable. But unaccountable in the forward line is fine when you can do what he can do. He's got freaky skills. He can take a big pack mark. He's only not little, but smaller than a big forward or a big backman. But yet he can still take a spec. He's sort of bigger than a Jamie Elliott, and I think he's got that. Again, he's got that zazz. He's got a little bit of forward nous that would be better used in the forward line rather than the back line, because in the back line you need to be accountable. And as much as you put shit on Lewis Young and all this sort of, Louis not the greatest player of all, but you know what he's going to give you in the defence? He's going to take a man out. He's going to take a big bloke out. He might not, don't let him touch the football. Let Wiedering get it. Let everybody else touch the ball as soon as he gets near it. But that's why I like Marchbank so much. I think Marchbank's got both. He's as good a defender as Lewis Young, yet he can actually deliver the football. So whether we continue with Marchbank, I don't know. He's probably injured and whatever. But I just think that one more key defender, and we've got something. I don't know.
Look, when Youngie play, when I watch Youngie, he plays his best footy when it's really simple, and that is just spoil the forward that you're playing on and just focus on punching that ball.
I don't know if you remember Preston Giacomo. He used to do the same thing, mate. Everybody used to rate him, think he was the greatest Collingwood footballer of all time, full back rower. I don't reckon he kicked the ball once.
Yeah.
But yet, everyone rates him as one of the greatest defenders. Like, Louis can do the same thing. But is there better options that can do both? Like, I don't know. Obviously, they're chasing defenders and they're looking for someone to help Jacob out, and maybe Wiedering doesn't like Young like the rumours are. I don't know, but he's not the worst option in the back line. He can man up on. I'd give him Jesse Hogan, and you know what? He's going to give you an honest contest.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well,
But
mate, it was a good day, and hopefully one more win, and then see what
I hate the
happens.
Saints. Jeez, I hope we can give it to the Saints.
Same.
That'd be great. They're the mate. I hate them more than I hate Collingwood and Essendon.
Wow, that's big.
Well, one of my mates goes to St Kilda. He thinks he's great. But anyway, yeah, you have a lovely night, mate, and thank you very much.
Thanks for calling in, Pat. See you, mate.
Take it easy, mate.
Bye. Evan.
Oh, g'day, mate. How you
you
going?
doing? Good,
Oh,
good.
yeah, a little better this week, aren't we?
Oh, mate.
Come
Very
rushing back
rarely,
to-
very rarely do I watch a game and I say, boys, I need you to win today. Like, I really need this one. Like,
Yeah, like for the heart, for the mind.
copped Collingwood last week,
Oh,
completely broken, just too much. And then
And
this
it
week,
is, man. I feel for someone in your position because, like, for me, if I'm not feeling the social media, I've got to switch off, for my own, like, mental health or whatever.
yeah,
You've got to be on, like, all the time. And I'm thinking, man, this is, it's harder for you than it is anyone else, I reckon. So credit to you, Terry. But a win is a win, and we needed a win. But I remember, like, I was watching it with my mum, and I turned to her and said, hey, Cooper Lord's playing. Ashton Moy's playing. And she's like, oh, like, we were just excited. Like, you know what? All these injuries legit breeds opportunity. And, for what we've been through, we really had nothing to lose. And then I saw Kemp's playing for it. I'm like, Kemp's playing for it, okay. Because I've seen him do it at the VFL. And he's got those physical attributes. You can see he launches at the ball. And the worst thing you could do is bring the ball to ground and getting the little guys got to work. And that happened plenty of times. And then, when he has the opportunity, he'll clamp him. And is that something we go with, permanently, or at least, for the remainder of the year, which could be one game, let's be honest. But I think it's worth persisting with because this is a legit conversation. Do we need that third target that isn't Harry and Charlie?
Well, I mean, it's Jack Silvani usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then if it's not him, it's maybe Jack Martin, but both unavailable now.
Yeah.
And then I don't think Harry or Charlie will be ready for next week. So it might just have to be Kemp again.
But, I think sometimes with these situations, you get forced to see what someone's made of. And I think, like many people have said previously, like, this could be his gig. Why not? So, what do you think of Cooper Lord?
Loved him.
Lord
I mean,
and
I loved. I think he probably faded out a little bit late.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I think he didn't seem. Sometimes you can get a little bit overawed at the occasion. He didn't. He settled into it really quickly.
Yeah.
I thought Binns probably took a little bit to settle into the game, but once he did, and it clicked, he looked great. But I thought Cooper Lord looked ready for the task pretty quickly, which is impressive. He's 19.
Yeah. Oh man, like he's a big boy too. Like he's got the build. And Jackie Carroll is a funny one. Like I think he's just kind of flies under the radar. He's not. He's a bit of a Georgie Hewitt and that keeps things simple, but simple can be good. And I think he's just a player worthwhile. He's someone I wondered whether he was going to make it, but I honestly think he's someone we persist with. Yeah. And Lewis Young, the whipping boy, but give the man the credit. He's not a world beater. He doesn't have any special skills. He just plays an honest brand of footy. And all you can do and all you need to do is just put the fist up and spoil. Sometimes that is like, a man that can play within his limitations and knows where his skills are at is better than the one who's trying to bite off more than he can chew.
That's true. Yeah. It's part of coaching as well. Simplify the instructions so they know exactly what their role is. And it's probably, we've talked about individuals. I don't think we've talked about the coaching today at all.
No, that's true. I think I saw Voss had a little like wry smile, and me was like, yeah, you deserve to have a smile. Like it's not. I know as a fan base we're like quick to react, sack Voss, but come on, it's obviously not going to happen. And it's just a little smile is okay. It's okay.
Well,
we want to play the football. We've had a hard month. It's okay.
it's true. It's true.
Sometimes it's the little things that you've got to celebrate. And yeah, look, we're not where we thought we'd be. We all know that. At the end of the day, though, I think we know what we're capable of, and we know that's in us. So that's probably one of the hard pills to swallow, is that we know that this is us, and what we've been putting out, that's not. But just one more thing. That is an interesting conversation that's coming up again. So, do we go super hard in the year and find ourselves like, is our brand taxing? What are your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, but I think everyone's brand it's a taxing league.
Oh yeah,
It's a
'cause like I
taxing
said,
league. Tough
with
competition.
yeah, I mean, I would think that we play. I think that Sydney play very taxing brand, and you saw them kind of fade a bit, but I think they've also got a lot of depth, a lot of star power. Not that we don't, but I think it is an interesting conversation. That there's no real conservative way of playing football, is there? But like, do we
No.
go? I think there's also like we went really hard in the preseason towards like the back end of it, and we question that. But
Well, we had a shortened preseason, and we started the
we're not used to
year earlier because we played in the opening round. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we also did that extra training block the way we did it. Maybe
Yeah.
in hindsight, that wasn't the move. Who knows? But
Who knows?
reality is,
But
win next week, we play finals footy, mate. That's what matters.
do you know what's coming up this week though, don't you, Terry?
17 men behind the ball.
I was going to say 3-goal memory.
Sickening.
Oh, sorry, I had to say it. What's going to happen though.
Yeah. Nah,
He
look.
loves to play us for some
Yeah.
reason. I don't know why. I'll give him credit. He's a decent footballer. But look,
All right, we're gonna have 4-goal Kemp, mate. So, hey, thanks for calling in, though. I really appreciate it.
No, good on you, Terry. All the best, mate.
See you, mate. Joe Adamo.
Yeah, we back.
Oh, shut up.
Oh yeah, we back. Yeah, we beat the West Coast Eagles, man. We're back. We're back.
Got some airtime today, mate, on the mainstream media. Joe Adamo on Fox Footy.
How's that on the tally? Not bad. No, I
That
didn't
was
even
good.
know. I got sent that photo about 8 times, so it was
good.
nice. But no, it was good fun. It was, you know what? It was a fun day. I'm at the hostel. It's a little bit noisy. There's the main road just here, so just bear with me. There's some background noise, but no, it was fun today. That's what it was. I think that's the way to describe it.
Do you take? Did you see it coming like that? Like, where were you early in the day?
Nah. I mean, especially the way we started, we just looked like, I don't know, we looked in all sorts. Just looked like we were disconnected again early on. Not the West Coast looked convincing, like they didn't, but we just looked even less convincing. And I was like, what are we doing here? Like, I understand that the forward line is makeshift and we've got some young kids in and whatnot, but it just looked at all sorts in the first 15, 20 minutes. And then after that, didn't look back. It was a nice surprise. I wanted to be surprised this week, and they surprised me in a nice way.
It had a little bit of Gold Coast early in the year, round 14, 2023, about it.
Is this what we're gonna do? This is where we're at.
Oh, the delusion. Look, you got to build yourself up. If we're going to get burnt next week, it is what it is. Let them do it. But
look, going into next week, you couldn't have asked for any more today. Like, you needed to take a big win into next week for the confidence. We needed, to take a turn of phrase from Michael Voss, we needed some scoreboard nourishment, and we got that today in the end. Funnily enough, the one thing I just couldn't wrap my head around today, why did we look so much more dangerous forward of centre without Charlie and Harry? Was it because of the oppo? Like, is it just West Coast were that bad in their back half, or is there something to it? I don't know the answer. I think we'll find out a bit more next week. But I don't know. There was something about it that you and I both said earlier in the week. at the very least, we're going to be unpredictable. And it was like we
So
were
unpredictable.
unpredictable for the first time in a long time.
But even the drop of the ball, the smalls being there, the timing was there, and it's like, I don't know. I mean,
But there wasn't any long bombs. So like we didn't go down the same wing, and there wasn't a long bomb from 80 meters out that fell like 30 meters from goal, and then it was like a scrap. It was direct all day. Lowered the eyes, kept the ball low, and like knocking it forward at every single opportunity that we had.
Yeah.
Like it looked different. And I don't know if it's because of the opposition. I'm not sure, but there was a different look to it. You can't say there wasn't. And that for me is just something I can't wrap my head around. Because if we can do that without Charlie and Harry, why can't we do that with them in the side? That's the thing that really, really frustrates me.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well, I mean, I've been watching the last few weeks in particular, and I've watched a number of teams tap into this instinctive do or die attitude. And I've kind of just been waiting for us to play with that same attitude. And today was the first time I saw it. We played with this willingness to tap the ball forward, just to keep the thing moving, to keep it live, embrace the chaos, be courageous. Been waiting for. I've been watching other teams do it for weeks now and wondering if and when it's going to happen for us. And I reckon if we bring the exact same approach mentally next week, fearless, courageous, willing to get the ball, moving at all costs.
Agree.
I do believe that.
Agree, but I don't know. There was something to it pre-game in the Cripps interview where he actually acknowledged that it was back on our terms. And for me, I looked at that and I went, okay, that's a bit of a change. It's a slight change in narrative and a slight change in language, and maybe it's just the benefit of hindsight. But even at the time, I went, okay, he's at least acknowledged that they know that this is now a proper opportunity for them. We're not relying on anyone now. Like, this is back in our hands. And fortunately enough, and maybe there's, I don't know, maybe something's clicked to go, we've had enough chances. This is another chance that we've been gifted, essentially, with Freo losing yesterday. Let's not fuck this one up. So, I don't know. Let's. I mean, you can only hope, right? Like, it was just fun today. Like, I'm glad I made the trip. Obviously, a win always makes it easier. But it was fun. The WA, big shout out to the WA Blues supporter base. They are phenomenal. They do. I don't know how they do it. Being away from the group for 23 weeks of the year and then seeing them once a year. Their passion is crazy good. So big shout out to them. But it was fun. And the only thing more fun than the win was Ashton Moyer kicking the greatest first goal ever. Like, you can't tell me it's not. You just can't tell me it's not.
Best first goal that you'll see
ever. That was like, it was so fun because it happened at the cheer squad end, obviously, where we were sitting. And after he'd kicked it, he looked up at the screen. He was waiting for the replay, and even he was shocked at what he did. Like, he had this wry, like, grin, smirk on his face. It was just like, I don't even know how I did it. It was brilliant. He's got something, that kid. I mean, all three of them today, Binns, Lord, and Moyer showed a bit at times, but that kid's got something. He's really got something.
Yeah, mate. Maybe it was a lesson. Should have played him earlier. Look what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Just on Jack Carroll too. The previous, I don't know who the gentleman's name was that was on before me, but I don't know how to phrase it other than right now. Who needs Adam Cerra when you got Jack Carroll? And that's not a knock on Adam Cerra at all. It's really not. But Carroll's got something that Cerra just does not have, and he's got this. He's just like, he's so smooth, man. He's so smooth. And he's a left footer. Like, people, like, we need to try and embrace that a little bit. We don't have a lot of left footers in the side, especially running through the midfield. Like, it does make you a little bit more dynamic and a bit more unpredictable. So that was probably a bit harsh on Ches, but I just like Jack Carroll. I like the way he moves.
It's funny how 7 days can do, mate. We were like in the dumps on Monday night, you and I.
Hey, job's still not done. I'm not getting.
No, it's not done. It's not done.
None of us can get ahead of ourselves. I mean, sure, we eliminated the Pies and the Dons today. Brilliant, fantastic. That's a win in itself. But when we look at us and what we need to do from here, the job is far from over. Far from over. You don't want to lose to the Saints and then leave it up to Port Adelaide to beat Freo next week.
True. Just win. Just win.
That's it.
You're flying to Europe tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, I'm out. So, in terms of podcast, we won't be recording tonight, tomorrow, or Tuesday. We'll be recording on Wednesday, and then I don't know. We might upload to the channel. We might upload to Spotify, just audio only. Again, we'll keep everyone updated. But yeah, Wednesday is when we are recording.
Easy done. Joel Damo, mate, have a safe flight.
Thank
Glad
you
you
very
enjoyed
much.
yourself. Go
Pleasure.
Blues.
Up the baggers.
Go, mate. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tez, how are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. First time, long time, I guess.
A few debutants, mate. Hey, it was the day for debutants, so bring them on.
I've been sort of watching since you got on, and we're getting a lot of love in the chat for Cripps, but not a lot of guys on here. I just thought his game today was unbelievable. He just, from the get-go to even the interview after the game, he was all about it, and that's what he's done all year for us.
Oh, mate, it would have been a week full of pressure. He would have felt that usual conversation. I mean, there was no Harry, no Charlie, no Sard, no a lot of these names that can, take the attention off from him. But yeah, he was calm. He was cool, calm, and collected, and in the middle, and he was brilliant.
But he knew what he had to do. He knew Harley Reid was going to go to him, and he was just going to have him holding on to him all day, and just went, look, you may be all the talk of the town, but I'm still the best number 9 in the comp. So follow me, mate.
Yeah, and I mean, he had 21 contested possessions, which is just standard. But I don't know. I felt like when he got out in space, I had not seen him out in space as much as what I did today.
Yeah, and the pressure and the tackling that he had, he sort of, as the commentators love to always, they call him Batman and all that sort of stuff. He really had that sort of aura about him today. Everything he did was with purpose.
Yeah.
And you could just feel, because we had a younger team, they were just ready to go with him all day today.
Yeah.
And that's what Vossi would have said to him. They were like, mate, these kids are going to follow you. So just, you set the tone, which he did. I think he had 5 touches in the first 10 minutes. Like, he just set the tone, and the kids were just up for the fight. Like, Ollie Hollins was so dynamic, like looking into the corridor every time he got the ball. Like, they were just up for the fight today, and they just showed how good they can be.
Doesn't need to be pretty. It doesn't need to be precise. It just needs to be full of intensity and passion, and that's kind of what it was.
Same with Weeders. He was the general again. He's been the general all year. He cops it, but to keep him to 34 points or whatever they scored today, like they had 35 inside 50s, like that's unheard of. And I know it's only West Coast, but it's still Jack Darling, it's still Oscar Allen, it's still Jake Waterman, like Liam Ryan. None of them imposed themselves in this game, and we were undermanned in the back line. Like, come on, like.
So
don't let us get into finals. Don't let us get into finals. And
where does that leave? Where does that leave? Where does that leave your confidence for next week, next Sunday against the Saints?
I've never wavered in confidence in this side. Like, I know it's been tough, and I might sound like a cocky Blue supporter, but I feel like it's always been there. And last few weeks, they've always kicked, like 9 goals, 15 or something, and they've just missed those opportunities. But I think the Saints look good. They look good against the Cats. They made the Cats look really slow, and that's called a bit of a knock on the Blues this year. But the team today look quick. They look dynamic. And I think if they can get out in front and meet the Saints at the contest, they're definitely going to be in with a chance.
Oh, the build-up. It begins. It begins.
I think the rating show is going to be huge with Pommy, like watching the heat map, like especially, as I said, with Ollie Hollins. He was everywhere today. It's going to be really good to see sort of where he got a lot of his ball. Same with Lige. Like, they were both just everywhere across halfback, delivering the ball inside 50. But yeah, I feel sorry for Durden that he hurt his shoulder. I just feel like he hasn't had a good run at it. And same with Zach Williams. They said hamstring, and I thought, oh, shit, here we go again, like the same guys. But hopefully it's cramp for his sake, because he just adds a different element to that forward line. And yeah, I think Jack Martin, sadly, I don't think he's going to be on the outer now, because Kemp looks like he could be that third tall for Harry and Charlie to work off. But we all of a sudden become a real tall forward line once De Koning comes back, and I think they've got a lot of good problems to deal with going forward, which is good.
Yeah. Well said, mate. Thanks for calling in.
No worries, mate. Thanks, Des.
See ya. Ben.
Hey, mate.
Oh, mate, in the fresh BA merchandise.
Mate, beautiful stuff. Everyone should go purchase one of these from the boy Terry.
Hey, the link is in the live chat, pinned to the top.
And the hoodie's beautiful.
I'm glad, mate. I'm glad. What did you make of today?
It was good. It was just good to get a win. Fuck. Like, not much you can really say. Today, for the first time on a game day, I've done something in the morning. I went and played golf. I tried to get my mind off it all day. I got to 4 o'clock, and I convinced myself at the start of the day I was going to listen to the watch along with Pommy. I'm not going to watch, but in the end, I was always going to watch. And
who are you kidding?
Oh, I know. But today, I thought Ollie Hollands was really mature and really showed his leadership today. Like, yeah, I thought he was brilliant, and I think he helped Binns a lot. Like, Binns had his slow half. I think he had 4 touches at halftime. But Ollie his strength in tackles and just bursting out of packs and being free was just awesome to see. And for all the knock that he's had all year, and everyone said, oh, he's not good offensively, rah, rah, rah. Just to show how good he was today, I was so pleased for him.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a guy that hasn't been mentioned as much so far on the camp. Well, 2. I think Nick Newman's one. He usually gets that usually happens with him. But I thought Elijah was fucking brilliant today.
Well, yeah, there's one more that I was going to bring up with you. I think where the game changed was with Owies. In the first 15 minutes, we were still putting the ball in long, and it ended up happening a fair bit, but there was a contest right on the edge of F50, and he just fucking finally went bang, punched the ball forward. The ball went 25 metres forward.
Yes,
and
he just knocked it.
Goal.
Yes,
Yeah.
great call. Great
and
call.
it happened about 4 or 5 times for the rest of the game, but that was the first one to go, fuck, we can do it on the ground, boys. We can do it. Just get the ball forward. Make a chaos ball. So I thought he was brilliant today. He was, again, massive for us. So I haven't seen much love for him, but yeah, I thought he was the big leader down there.
Yeah. Well, he has now kicked, I think, 32 goals for the year, Matt Owies, which it's official. I remember the conversation really clearly start of the year. Can we find a small forward that can kick 30-plus goals? And we all thought it would be Motlop. And it might still be in the future, but Owies is now that guy.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's crazy to think that he's kicked 32 goals, and 5-6 years ago we had Casbolt kick 37 for the year, be a leading goal kicker.
I've learned something today. I try and learn something every week, but we've got to stop with this God complex, this Messiah complex, this big like Ashton Moyer, for example. Great kid, great moment. Yeah. He's just Ashton. He's not Cooter. Yep. He's not anyone. He's just Ashton. They're just footballers. Give me a guy that's going to get a little bit better every year, every day of the week. Over these big, we try and like put these massive brands on these players, and then when they're there, they don't work as hard, and then when they're not there, we see the workers come in and the lesser known names come in, and like all of a sudden we found our Carlton identity, which is hard work.
Yeah, well, that was sort of going to lead into like my last point. sort of 2 points. Jackson Binns, again, like he started slow, but where I thought he worked his game into the second half was it was a contest on the wing just out of a tap. And as Bailey Williams, their ruckman, had the ball, and young, small Jackson Binns pinned him and dragged him to
Yeah.
the ground and held him and forced another contest. And I thought, far out, that is fantastic that he was able to bring him to ground and just hold him up. And that just sort of set him along. But again, for the whole day, there were so many tackles that we didn't let them get the handball out or get the free arm. I thought that was sort of the biggest takeaway from the game, that our tackling and not letting them get the extra possession.
Yeah.
And the gang tackling, that was fantastic. So
Yeah. Numbers at stoppage. I mean, I watched on screen, so I was listening to commentary, and the amount of times that the commentator said, about the work rate, Carlton's work rate, and the numbers at spillages, numbers at contests, numbers in tackles. That's all we ask, mate. So
100%.
bring that next
100%.
week. You'll be there next week?
Yeah, I'll always be there, mate. So
Bloody
looking
oath.
forward to it.
Well, yeah. Hey, thanks so much for purchasing from the BA shop. Appreciate the support. And
That's all right, mate.
see you next week.
See you next week. Go Blues, mate.
Go Blues, mate. Wowdy. Hello, mate.
Hey, Terry. How are you, mate?
Good. A little bit of life in our faces today after the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, the pressure valve's come off a little bit. I think, look, it was a good win. I mean, it was against the odds, let's face it. There was, a third youngest side, I think, that went out on the field over the weekend. So
we had an average of 70 games played today.
Yep.
So
yeah, so look, good to come away with the points. Third time playing for finals, in sort of different circumstances. I guess 2022 we, fell over the line, or fell over at the last hurdle. Last year we sort of made that big run, and then probably didn't seal it till the second last round. So, towards the back end of the year, we sort of sealed it, and then this year we're leaving it to the end again. So we've had a bit of practice at it. So won't be easy next week, but their destiny's in their own hands, isn't it?
That's all you can really ask for. Don't get it. Don't put your destiny in the control of somebody else.
Yeah, that's right. And prior to this round, their destiny was in Fremantle's hands. So, they lost. They fell over yesterday. Today, we get our opportunity. We took it, which is good. And now the ball's in our court again. So, thankfully, we get the chance to play before they do, albeit, we'll be probably halfway through our game before their game starts. So, with a bit of luck, we would, hopefully we can square the game away early next week and not have to worry about a close game. But we'll see what comes our way. But it was good. It was good to see a few of the younger guys get a run. I thought Cooper Lord he looked like he belonged. Probably just lacked a pre-season, I guess. But
true, that's a good call. Get a pre-season into him.
Oh. He just looked like he belonged. He looked like he was an on-ball bull, and he just gets in there. It was a shame that kick as he kicked it, looked like it was going through. And I was like, yes, it's going, and then it just sort of drifted the last second. But it was good to see Moy get his first and Binzi as well. I thought, and the players got around them both. So I thought that was good, bit of energy. I like the call on Jack Carroll. I think he looked pretty good. And he does give us something a little bit different in that midfield. He's not he's not an accumulator like perhaps some of the other midfielders, but you can just see he's getting a lot more confident playing on the ball. And I think the twos this year has really helped his development. So I think from that point of view, I did look at the ladder, interestingly, after today, and and it just sort of makes you wonder. And I know it's reflection and all that, but if we'd won one of those games that we'd lost over the last few weeks, or even, against Adelaide, we'd be fourth tonight. We'd actually be fourth. It's so freakingly crazy the way this year's going. So, yeah. Anyway, I mean, that's
Well,
just
look,
what.
I think look, it's a good point. I mean, as you rise up the top, the margins become so much smaller. And I mean, it's going to be a question that I'm going to ask tonight, and I have been, and I'm going to ask all week. But like, what do you think is in the secret answer in the source as to why were they able to find the connection today that they couldn't find for the last, let's just say the last 3 to 4 weeks? Like, yeah, you drop a couple, the Dogs game, the Giants, okay, bad losses, whatever, but it just kept dragging out. And I'm like, how did they not find that intensity until today? What do you think it is? Do they need to get out of the 8 in order to really have that shock factor of, oh, we're actually out of the 8?
Yeah, look, I think it's a good question, and look, it's a hard one to put your finger on. I mean, you'd like to think it's mental. I mean, that they can do it because we've seen it, we've seen the evidence, or we've seen the proof. So you'd like to think, is it a mental thing? Is it clubs just, the teams that we've played, have found a way to combat us in and around that? But then you see them today, like they've got a makeshift forward line and they do what they did, right? And you sort of think, well, okay, that gives us something different. So is it a mindset? I'd like to think it's a mindset, but I mean, who knows? I mean, only probably the club really know internally what's really going on there. But yeah, it's a hard one. It's my take on it is probably just mental. That's my sort of take on it. But look, who knows? Good. Look, the good thing is they fought out today. I just wonder whether there was anyone in the box that was communicating with Vossi about building some percentage in that last, because, and I know Hawthorn will probably beat North next week, but suddenly if, we're above them on percentage and we're 7th, let's say tonight, that, and then they lose and we lose next week and Freo win, then Hawthorn drop out, you know what I mean? So just because of that differential of percentage. But I mean, look, it's probably neither here or there, but it was still a good win. They're keeping themselves in it. Yeah, you take it, absolutely.
We'll take it.
And then, if all things go well this time next week, we're off to the Gabba more than likely. So yeah, so that'll be interesting. But you got to be in it to have a chance.
Well, I think this year more than most, just qualify. You probably got to be in the top 4 to win a flag, and that's what the history will tell you. But I don't know if there's been an 8 like what I've seen this year.
No.
I don't
Well,
think I've seen it.
crazingly, thinking about this in a crazy way, we win next week, we've won more games than what we have last year and the year before. And yet we finish 8th or thereabouts, and that's just nuts. That's nuts. And then you say on win-losses, we've actually improved. What a weird year.
Man, nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense anymore.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just, I mean, we're what, 13 wins now?
Yeah, 13 wins.
12
12 used to lock you in. 12 used to be the number.
Yeah.
Then the number became 13. And now the number's almost got to be 14.
Yeah, well, judging on next week, we got to win next week, and that 14 gets us in. And that's just not like, if you think 14 at the start of the year, you probably think that's probably 5th or something, probably like last year. No, this year, not this year.
Well, the Dogs won 15 games when they won the flag in 2016.
Yep.
During the season. So anyway, that's 2024.
And the crazy correlation is, let's say we get up next week. Yeah, we might get 1 or 2 soldiers back next week. I don't know. Don't know what that's going to look like. But suddenly we've got a final series. We've got a week's break to get sort of players fresh and recovering from injuries, and then they've got this dilemma of who they bring in for the finals. So, hopefully we've got some fresh blokes, and who knows? I mean, stranger things have happened. This is what the Doggies did in 2016, I think. They lost their last game, but then they got on the road. They had a week off. They got on the road and went on their way and took all before them.
Well, mate, see you next Sunday, and hopefully we're all up and about.
Oh yeah, they'll pack out Marvel next week, I think.
They will.
Good one.
Thanks, Weldy.
Thanks, Terry. Good one. Take care. See you, mate.
Paolo.
Mens sana in corpore sano. A healthy mind in a healthy body. There's a reason the healthy mind comes first, because it's mind over matter. And that's exactly what today was, Terry. That is exactly what today was. How are you? It's nice to be with you after a win.
Mate, it's good to be smiling. It's good to be happy.
It is. They were very impressive today from the onset. It is the weirdest league and the weirdest sport in the world when a skeleton squad goes to Perth without two notable goal kickers, without Adam Sard, without a handful of your, in inverted commas, star players, and get the job done as easy as pie. And it was the easiest watch we've had in the last 6 weeks. Just goes to tell you that majority of it is all above the shoulders, isn't it? And in between the ears. They were locked in from the start, and we had more inside 50 tackles in the first half than we nearly did in 3 weeks, and that says a lot.
It's funny because two months ago, a lot of us would have expected a 10-goal win against the Eagles in this game.
And rightfully so, I think.
Yeah. 4 weeks ago, maybe the same. This morning, it was just escape with a 1-point win. And then we end up winning by 10 goals.
Get some miles into the legs of the youngsters so we can prepare for next year. And why do we debut him and her? And that was a very, very impressive display. And again, it's the weirdest and funniest league in world sport, I think. And people saying, I don't want to make finals. I don't want to make finals. That's just loser mentality, mate. That's Tottenham Hotspur mentality, mate. I don't want to win because we're not going to have an influence in finals this year. It's like a Melbourne Cup, right? To win a Melbourne Cup, you've got to have miles in your legs, yeah? To win a premiership, you've got to have miles in your legs. Right? This is the second time that the group has done it. Had a positive win-loss ledger in a season, right? And look, the last 5 to 6 weeks has been frustrating and has been nowhere near the level. And look, there are still going to be question marks and concerns regardless of what happens this season. Can we win the flag? Probably not, but who cares, right? That's what we're there for. But you've just got to keep chipping away. And we said last week on Tuesday on the Jumper Punch, and as the week went on, you kind of look into the season, and Wowdy touched on it then and raised it during the week as well, that if we win these last 2 games, we win more games than we did last season. And we're on the precipice of the 8, which just goes to show you how tight the competition is. No team has gone on a barnstorming run this season. Brisbane was premiership favourite 3 weeks ago. No one can beat Brisbane now, but they've made their run. They're the premiership favourites. 6 to 8 weeks ago, no one could beat Sydney. And now we don't know who's. Port Adelaide were going to sack their coach 8 weeks ago. Oh, booing them off the ground.
Bevo.
And Geelong, Geelong got pantsed by St Kilda last night. Luke Beveridge, the same thing. And they got destroyed by Adelaide last week and beat an inferior team this week. But I think at work, Jared Waitley and Brad Johnson said it perfectly. Just get a start on the grid. Get on the grid. Get on the grid. Get some troops back, and whatever happens, happens. Right? I don't want to. You have to make finals. You got to make finals.
Football. It's part of the process.
You got to get the mileage into the legs. It's like a Melbourne Cup runner. You got to get the kilometres into the legs. You got to keep chipping away, make that sustainable. Look, there's still a few identity issues with the club that, that whole pass thing from last week. We know we've raised that, right? That's done now. for me last week, we won this game and we lost the game, I say 50 seconds into Michael Voss's press conference after that Collingwood game. We lost that Hawthorn game then. I was adamant about it, right? During this week, what did he do? Hard edge in the press conference after Hawthorn. Unacceptable. Not the standard. Second quarter, first half, not good enough. It was more of a Hawthorn game. And he said, and someone finally, for the love of God, took responsibility for what was not happening at the club. He said, our goal is to become a more consistent home and away team. We weren't that before I came here, and we haven't been that since I've arrived here. So he has accepted, he's voluntarily accepted and said, we haven't set out to be what we want to be just yet. And this week there was accountability for performance against Hawthorn in the media, in the press. They took it upon themselves. We haven't been anywhere near the level. Finally someone says it. And we won that game this week, post-game, thanks to the leader's words in that press conference. It was far edgier. It was him. It was what we wanted to see. He put it on us. He put it on the players, and they've come out and responded. And some of those younger boys can really hold their heads up high. Cooper Lord, I thought, was sensational today. One thing that I really liked about him is that Harley Reid had a bit to say, didn't he? He was a bit chirpy. He was involved. It was a bit of macho stuff. Cooper Lord just brushed it off and said, "Okay, no problems. I'll just go on and do my job." Nothing fazed him today. The young man didn't get caught up in the whirlwind of that contest. Didn't get caught up in the whirlwind of Frackards or Donnybrooks or anything like that. And he just let his men go to work. And Brody Kemp was sensational. I'm sure he's got a lot of love tonight on fan camps from a lot of Carlton players. But he had a job to do today, and he did it. And they all did. And they should hold their heads up high. And what does this win do for our season? We don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
It was, for me, it was just important to see the method and the application and more and that concentration.
Yeah.
My fear was that they'd lost their collective focus after last week. And I'm like, that's really hard to find again. And it's funny now that it's just West Coast, but this morning it was, oh my God, it's West Coast at home who are in form. But the application and the willingness to work for each other, with each other, I think is us.
That's all you can ask for, though, mate. That's all we can ask for, because that feels as though it's a missing element, right?
Yeah.
But that thing that you just mentioned there, that arising consistently for this team over a 24 to 28 week period, it's not there yet, right? Once that's the missing identity and the missing element of this team. The players are good enough. They can play. It's all here. And it's literally staring us right in the face. It's our slogan. Mens sana incorporo sano, and everybody has just missed it.
It's been staring us in the face the whole time.
It's there. It's right there. It's right behind you. It's right behind you over your left shoulder, right? And there is a reason why sana is before sano, before incorporate, before body. Because without this, the rest can't function. And that's been the problem the last couple of weeks. The moment they start to go into their shells and they don't quite make that decision. And what today, they didn't have the safety rope of Harry Mackay and Charlie Kerner when they knew they had to move the ball short and with chaos. Because if we had to move the ball like we did in the past, long and high, Jeremy McGovern and their backs would have had a field day. And I really want to credit, and I think you cannot, that was probably one of the performances of the season from Brody Kemp. You cannot underestimate how good a performance that was, not just from him too, but from the team. This was backs against the wall stuff. This was an impressive performance today from start to finish. A very, very impressive performance. So, I mean, it's sky's the limit now. You go to next week and make finals, and whatever happens, happens.
Start getting some boys back, but
yeah, of course.
I don't even care less about who's going to come back. I think today I learned that the squad is good enough to compete.
Yeah. Like I said, I was really and Cooper Lord. his VFL form had been really, really strong, and I could just see it already. I don't know if people are saying it. Oh, don't change the team. Just leave Cooper Lord in. Leave Brody Kemp up forward. We don't need Charlie. We don't need Harry. Leave it alone. Leave them all up there. It's okay. We don't need Sard down back now. It's all right. Leave him out for another week. The one player who should never be dropped again is George Hewitt. I know I keep
mate.
about it. Mate, he was selling Ken. He was sidestepping them at halfback. He was phenomenal today, mate. He gave Reed a bit of a lesson in the first half and the first 3 or so quarters with regards to work rate and professionalism. And that's what he is. He's a consummate professional. Very softly spoken. Yeah.
You did mention Harley Reid wanting to get a little bit animated. You know which young fella got stuck right into him? Young Lockie Cowan. He was up for the shit
see that.
fight.
Yeah. Hasn't he been good the last 2 weeks?
He has grown immensely in the last couple of weeks.
It's look, I don't want to be misquoted as saying that they don't care, right? They do care, but the last couple of weeks it just seems as though the collective care has not been enough, right? And he's a player that no matter what the game state is, you know what you're going to get from him. And I think that's what stood out last week, is that when it was all going to the shit last week, he stood up, because that mode with which he plays in and the mindset that he has in every game, regardless of the scenario, that's always going to stand up and it's always going to be noticed. And it's going to be amplified in those moments when everybody's down, because he's the one who's going to crack in, right? And when it all starts to go your way, you see what he's able to do. And yeah, he's got that little bit of shit in him, which we like. He's got that mongrel. He is. I think we said it a couple of weeks ago. He's everything I think we wanted Liam Stocker to be, and more.
Yeah.
And more.
The club hasn't had one in a while, and I think he's definitely it. But he's got the class, the way he plays too. He's got a class in the way to play.
Yeah, he's the one thing I like about him. I think he's starting to adopt a bit of composure into his game, and that will only, I think, naturally come as you become comfortable at the level and you have comfort in your own abilities. And he might have been put on the edge when he was dropped a couple of weeks ago, and he's come in and he's done a really good job. I thought he was really, really good today. So I like this comment from Mark Smith. Arsenal have offered a contract to Moyer after that goal. Didn't he look all right when he came on, Ashton Moyer? He's got sticky hands.
Smiley, happy, excited, and then he took that first mark, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's going to one day replace Jack Martin." It's great.
Yeah. He looks that type. He's got, and you notice those 2 strong marks he took were right in the vicinity of a West Coast defender, and he gripped onto that ball.
Yeah,
like it was.
He was ready and he was prepared, and he's had an entire VFL season, and this is why it's important to get at least 10 to 15 games when they get drafted. Let them work on their craft. This is why, because early in the season, I think the question marks around him were, naturally, the tank, and then the craft, and then the last 4 to 6 weeks, we've seen him play a little bit more up on the wing and just developing his game. And then you just saw it. Once he got his opportunity, he was ready. He was really prepared for his moments.
Yeah, and moments like that become infectious throughout the team too. And there was a stage where you think, can this team, because this group of players that took the field today, they barely played together. There was a lot of makeshift. There are a lot of makeshift moves going on with the team, and you thought, can they see it out? And I thought we saw it out really, really well. We saw it out professionally. It was a very, very strong performance. Look, granted, West Coast have probably put the queue in the rack for season 2024, but there was a lot of pressure on us coming into this game. Again, could you imagine if we had have lost? I don't want to hear, and look, people can say what they want. I'm here to tell people what they can and can't say. You can say whatever you want, but I just don't like that. I didn't like that whole thing creeping in from us last week. Don't want to make finals. Don't want to. We put out a poll on the Untitled Blues Twitter page, and 65%, I'll have to go back, 65% of us didn't want to make finals.
What?
Yeah, let me hang on. Let me get it up. Let me find the.
I said during the week, it reminded me of 3 minutes to go against Port. Yes, we were in a losing position. 3 minutes to go, everyone flocks out of the stadium. And I was like,
I don't like that, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It evened itself out. But still, this is still bad, though. This is still bad. This was the question we asked, right? Can you? I don't know if you can. That's probably a
No.
bit too. That's right. We asked at this point, would you rather play finals, miss the 8, right? There are 186 votes. So it's a very small sample size, right? 53% wanted to play finals, 47% didn't want to play finals. That's just not good enough, mate. That is loser mentality.
It's not good enough.
That's loser defeatist mentality. You go all the way, and whatever happens, happens. You
Yeah.
want to play finals. You have to play finals. I mean, if that poll was done at the start of the season, mate, you think you have rocks in your head. The results should not determine what the standards and expectations are. Maybe they do to a point when things just go completely terribly or completely brilliantly, right? When you have these outliers. But, geez, mate, that mindset's just got to change. I don't want to hear that kind of stuff,
No.
and that's not on. You know, you got to go. Look, Vossi said against Collingwood, you got to go to the line, but that's the minimum expectation. You know, once you drop that standard, and that's why we got flogged by Hawthorn, because you drop that little bit, you drop that standard for a week or so. Players are happy about themselves. Oh, we came back against Collingwood even though we didn't win. So you pat them on the back for that, and then that falls away the week after. So have to make finals. Whatever happens, happens.
Finals is where we rebuilt to play finals football and contend for a premiership, multiple premiership.
We're in this phase now, right? We're in this phase where you consistently have to be in the mold of playing finals. That's that next step of elevation, that next layer. And then the next layer is in that mold for however long it is to compete for flags. And that will just fluctuate as it goes on. So look, there's still going to be question marks, Terry. And we know that. Strength and conditioning, tactically, the coaches, mentally, how strong are this team, right? They'll continue to go through these experiences, and people within their right to question what the hell was going on. And then you see what Collingwood does yesterday, and you think, why can't we do that? Why can't we be that club? Backs against the wall, everybody's against you. There's injuries here, left, right, and centre. And they come out and they beat Brisbane. And I was just thinking, mate, what is it with us? We're here 160 years. We're flailing away. Our season's on the ropes. And they responded today. Now we need to see more of that mentality, more of that ball movement going in throughout for the rest of the season. And when Charlie and Harry do eventually come back, if they do, I want to see us play that way when they're in there. Don't use them as a safety rope up the line. Look for other options. There are other players up there.
Yeah.
So
very good.
One more thing I wanted to add before I wrap up, and my heart not broke for him, but hopefully he's okay. I'm not too sure how bad it is, but I really like Corey Durden's game today. I thought he was sensational until he did his shoulder. I thought it was his best game for the club. I thought it was his best game for the club.
Yeah, he was very good.
I thought it was a career best performance, and they put the heat on him, and he came in off an okay VFL game and high pressure away from home, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. And unfortunately, we don't know how long he's going to be out for. It didn't look great, but yeah, I thought I just ended on that note. I was really, really, really happy for him, but yeah, a bit upset and a bit shattered for him that he's hurt his shoulder. But on to the Sainers, beat them, and we're in the finals.
See you next Sunday, mate.
Go Blues.
Go Blues. All right. There is a full waiting room. Let's try and get through these as efficiently as we can. We've had John Holden. What about Josh Holden?
Hey, Terry. How are you going, mate?
Good, mate. What have you got for me tonight?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I want to piggyback off Paul real quick about the attitude of let's miss the finals. I'm just questioning what makes you think that's gonna help us win a premiership? Not you, but anyone who suggests it. How's that gonna help us win a premiership? We've got enough first round picks. How many more do you bloody want? Our draft hand is kind of skewed anyway this year because we're getting the Campo boys. It won't give us a better draw because we'll still finish 9th, 8th. You're not going to get much of a difference. I'd rather see us get belted by 12 goals in an elimination final than sit here biscuit ass next week whinging that we missed the finals. I mean, I don't want to get belted by 12 goals, but I'd rather see that than not be there. So that's that. I just think we got to get finals experience as much as possible. I look at Port Adelaide. A lot of people say they haven't been successful. And I go, well, they fucking played in 4, 5 prelims over the last 10 years. Who would you rather be, Port or us, in the last 10 years? I know who I'm picking. They didn't win a flag. And the next thing, I was confident we'd win all week. I think we'll make the finals. been confident about that for a while. The other point I wanted to make was about you mentioned earlier about our kids. They came in today and they wanted it. A lot of our players, they've sort of been a bit lackadaisical lately. Dad sort of touched on it earlier. I've made it, therefore, I don't have to fight as much for the ball. Scott, Essendon's coach, he mentioned when shit started to get hard for Essendon, a lot of their players, they were waiting for someone else to do it. It's like, I hope we don't lose today, rather than I've got to go do my job. And I saw today a lot of the kids, Lord, Binns, etc., they didn't give a fuck if we won or lost. They weren't out there going, shit, our season's on the line. They went out there and went, where the fuck's the ball? What am I supposed to be doing? And then they just went and did what they were supposed to do. Lo and behold, they got the ball in their hands. Rather than going, fuck, I hope Charlie can kick 6 today, because we could really use that. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts.
I like that. No, it's a really good perspective. Yeah. It has to be that way. Ownership has to come from everyone that's playing.
100%.
Very good, mate.
Well, I'll let you go because you said you got a full waiting room, so I'll let you get through them all. And I tell you now, we're going to be here next weekend, whether we lose to the Saints or whatever it's going to be. We're going to be in the finals. It's as simple as that. We're playing finals. So just get used to it.
I love it. Thanks, Josh.
Have a good one. Go Blues.
Yeah, go Blues. We've got Cam, aka Foxwood. Hello, mate.
Hello. How's things going?
Things are much better today than what they were 7 days ago.
Indeed. It was a weird week. It's been a weird month.
Yeah. What is your summary of today, and what's your overall
much of
thoughts
sort of
on
what others have touched on in a sense? I think the influx of new blood, new energy into the team was gave us a lift. It took almost released some of the pressure as well.
Yeah.
I think that the game played out in a way that made it less stressful because we got on top sort of in that second quarter and made it a bit of a ride home rather than being under that stress. But it was good, a good day at the footy, or at least watching it.
Where does it put you with your confidence? What did this win do, or the performance?
I think in general, hasn't really wavered too much. I mean, you make finals, you don't make finals. You want to make finals. If you miss this year and you win 13 games or 14 games, it's just that kind of year. Someone's going to miss out that other years wouldn't have missed out. Part of that's probably because there's 2 more games now than there was in other years. 23 games for the season or something like that. But we've given out. It's in our opportunity again, like it was 2 months ago. We win next week, we're in. So it doesn't matter what anyone else does.
True. Wow, we've got to figure out a quiz for Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't think there's one in the barrel, but hopefully there's another one the week after.
That's true. So for those watching and those of you who watch Reflections, this is Foxwood who makes the quizzes for us. So, mate, that's been good. It's been a great addition. Really enjoy. I really enjoy that. Thanks for making them for us.
It's been fun going back and sort of looking back on games from different eras and generations, and you sort of remember either cult figures or frustrating players from those eras that you go, man, did we really play 3 ruckmen in a game against Hawthorn? Like, were we relying on Jared Garlett to kick 3 goals coming off the bench or something? Like,
well, mate, hopefully, like you said, hopefully this week isn't the last quiz that you're creating. Hopefully there's another one. So we'll get there, but will you be there next Sunday?
No, I'm down in Tassie, so watching from home.
That's right.
Well, it'll be a packed Marvel, surely. I think interestingly, what's probably the case is that with the injuries, we're probably not going to have many changes. There can't really be that many.
Not many.
Maybe you get a Harry or a Charlie back. I can't see any of the others coming in. Someone's probably going to have to come in for Durden. It's, I guess, probably Fantasia.
True.
Would make sense. but they showed a lot in their limited time. Like Moya was good for his quarter of play. Lord looked settled. Binns had his moments, and I think Kemp showed that he has that versatility. I think we're focused on his kick 4 goals, had 5 shots on goal. Jeremy McGovern took 4 marks for the game.
Yeah.
So
did that well. I mean, doesn't get spoken a lot after wins, but it's pretty good coaching.
Yeah, I think it was almost had to be Kemp or McGovern, and Kemp sort of made the most sense of going forward. They're not going to name him in the forward line because that's not what you do with those sort of tactics. You're going to wait and see and put it out there at the first bounce rather than give them an opportunity to adapt to it.
True. Well, mate, thanks very much for calling in.
No problems. Enjoy the week. I'll enjoy a quiz. I think you'll have fun with this week's one.
See you then, mate. Go Blues.
Catch up.
Hey, True Footy. It was a thrilling, tight contest from start to finish, but I suppose one team had to come out on top. Well done, Carlton. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for coming on this week for the preview as well. Hey, Robbo.
G'day, Tez. How you going, mate?
Mate, I'm much better. That's how I'm going.
I've been watching you for some time now, my first time calling in, and I thought quite appropriate that I'd call in Blue abroad when I am abroad.
Where are you?
Okay. That is Shibaya. I'm lost in translation at the moment.
Wow. Shibaya, wait, where are you?
Yeah, Tokyo.
You're in Tokyo.
I'm in Tokyo. I'm on the 28th floor.
Fantastic. What's
in Shinjuku.
What's happening in Tokyo? What are you doing there?
Oh, it's bloody hot, mate. Compared to Melbourne, it's bloody hot. I'll leave on a cruise tomorrow.
Wow. So you just watched the game from there, from the hotel?
Yeah. I watched it here, DeSavo. Watched it on Foxtel. Thank God for VPNs. So, it was great. It was great. It was a good game to watch. Good to see the young guys come on good. So,
what were you thinking early in the week, and did it match up with what you were thinking would happen?
No. Not at all. I came to Tokyo to get away from there.
You ran away. Fair enough, mate.
Hey, I was hiding from the world. But now I'm back. So it was good. It was good to watch it here. And when do we play next week? Sunday?
We play Sunday, 3:20, Marvel Stadium.
Yeah, okay. So I'll be somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean. So if I have Wi-Fi, I'll call you in from the balcony of my cruise ship.
Please do. That would be really cool. I mean, anyone who watches who is not in Australia, I mean, wherever you are in the world, call in. But I really love when someone who's not in the country calls in, because I just think it encapsulates what this whole thing is about, really.
Well, you're blue abroad.
Well, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it was good to see the. Sorry.
That we are blue abroad.
We are. Yeah, I've been watching you for years now, and even through those hard times, all those losses, I would watch you on a Sunday night, and it was therapy. So because it was just driving me nuts. So I grew up with the cool period of the Blues. Not many people can say it, but in my lifetime, there's been 8 premierships. That's pretty bloody good.
Wow.
Yeah. So, not many other supporters can say that. And I actually heard one of your earlier guys say that he really hates St Kilda. Well, so do I. I really hate them too. When they were flying, they were sticking it to us, and they never did nothing. They got nothing. They got 1 premiership cup just like we did in the same period. Take that, St Kilda. Let's do it to them next week.
Love it. Robbo, you're a star. Thanks for calling in, mate.
Thanks, Tez.
See ya. Love that. Absolutely love that. Hey, Beachy.
G'day, Tez. How we going, mate?
Mate, we're going well. That is a very cool jacket coat that you've got on there. You've got a bit of fashion happening, mate.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, as you can, well, you may not know this, but you will now. I'm at Perth Airport waiting for my flight back home to Melbourne after being at the game. So, yeah, we're at the airport, and I reckon as soon as we get back into Melbourne, I'll be heading straight into work. So this guy's about to become a zombie in a few hours, but we're enjoying the moments while we still have them.
Absolutely, mate. So you got the best seat in the house. You were there today. What did you make of it and the whole experience?
Well, it clearly wasn't a carbon copy of what we did to West Coast the last time we played them over here, but it was a good win to get nonetheless. It was quite blustering to start the game. A few of the kicks that were going forward and going back were holding up in the wind. So anytime we thought that we might have had a chance to take a mark, it was actually holding up and players were actually having to run a bit further to get the mark themselves. But, look, I was happy with what we put up. West Coast did have some pressure, but it wasn't always constant. We still found ways forward to get the score. I know a few people have already touched on this already, but Brody Kemp played his best game for the club that I can recall. Same with George Hewitt, 35 touches, 10 tackles. Brody kept kicking 4 goals, could have had 5, but you'll take 4 every day of the week. The Hollands brothers having 49 disposals between them, 10 tackles between them. Cripps and Walsh doing their work, Pitto doing their work. Weeders being a stockpile in defence. There's not much more I can say. It was a performance that we were desperately after today. So we were very happy with that performance.
We needed to find that intensity, that focus, and we needed to find ourselves again. And hopefully it's going to be enough to get the job done next week. But where does it sit with you playing against the Saints next week? What comes to mind?
Well, really, we need to continue that pressure. We need to continue that pressure around the ball. I do acknowledge that the Saints have had the wood on us around the ball in the last little while, so we will need to take it to them on that front. Look, I want us to win, clearly, but it isn't going to be easy against them. They did knock off Geelong. So, I can't ignore that, but we do need to make sure that we actually do what we are required to do. So we need to make sure that we show up and actually do what's required of us. Whether we have Charlie and Harry there, that's a different story. We need to do the job that is asked of us and make sure that we actually do what we need.
Yeah. Well, mate, hopefully bump into you next week. I want to see everyone.
Yeah, no, I'll be there, mate. I'm on the red eye back home tonight, so I won't be landing until about 6 or so in the morning. But that shouldn't stop me from being there Sunday.
Well, mate, you have a safe flight, and we'll see you in Melbourne.
Good on you, mate. Thank you very much.
There, Beachy. Connor.
Hello, Terry.
How are you, mate?
Good on you.
It's a good win today, wasn't it?
It was a good win today. Unexpected have the goals we had.
A lot of us were a bit worried this morning, mate. I'm not sure why. The boys got it done easy.
But it was only that though. I was quite surprised how we were doing. First quarter was the first half of the game was a bit rough, and then we had not the players because we had six players out, so we had a total of 16 players out.
Mate, we could have almost fielded a team with the players that weren't playing.
Yeah, so still, overall, they did really well. I say that Charlie, will try to be like the next, hopefully before the next season. But I have to say that pretty quickly did really well today. I have some other players doing very good too. I have a feeling that they did pretty well. The percentage was I thought they were going to have a loss. It's like I didn't think they were going to have a loss. Hopefully, keep hanging up is the top 8 and try to stay into the finals.
Yep. So you're going to be there next Sunday, I hope.
I will be there. I'll be watching on TV.
Be watching on TV. Well, hopefully we're speaking to you next Sunday night after a big win, Connor.
I'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, mate. Thanks for calling in.
All right.
See ya.
Blues.
Go Blues. Webby.
This team, man. This team, bro.
This club. That'll be the end of us, mate.
Where's that been, Terry?
Oh,
Where's that
Webby.
been? What's going on? It's all mindset. It's all mental. We got the talent. It's mental.
It's why we get mad. You don't get mad at something you don't know is not possible.
Good to see you smiling too, by the way, mate. It's good to see you smiling.
It is good to smile. I had a
We
full
spoke
mental
Monday and
breakdown.
you were depressed. I know you were.
Mate, I had a full fucking breakdown last week.
Thoughts on the game?
I
thought our young guys just gave us energy and I actually like Vossi on Thursday when he looked at the journalist and said, "You can write about injuries, but I ain't speaking about them." Like that's Michael Voss, the player. That's who we want as a coach. That's who he is. So let him be him.
It's hard.
So,
It's
it's
like there's a balancing act, right? We're talking about it on the team show. It's like the press conferences are just mandatory. The journos are grubby. They're there to get a reaction out of the coach. So he plays a straight bat. But at the same time, he's got to give a little bit so the fans who watch can feel, and it's hard because
that's why I get frustrated with Vossi. It's like, mate, just tell us. Just be honest with us. Don't give us the company line. We're not idiots, right? Just tell us what's going on.
Yeah, but it's hard because those by telling it the way we want to hear it, people want to hear him say we were shit last week. And
yeah.
Well, you're not going to get that.
No,
it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Those journos want a little bit too much emotion so they can write a story and create a narrative.
They want to grab.
Yeah. They want to grab. So he's got to kind of be careful, but at the same time not be too careful. I definitely agree there needs to be a little bit more just honesty. There's one word that gets said in our press conferences which I think we should remove, and that's the word probably. We probably weren't up to standard. No. It's okay. No, process is fine, but the word probably, like when they say, we probably weren't good enough. No, you weren't good enough. That's okay. You're not probably. Let's start dealing in definites, not probables, That's the only thing I would say on that.
Like, I do laugh at this narrative after the game. Oh, it was only West Coast. But this morning, our supporters were having a mental breakdown. Like, oh my God, it's the Eagles in Perth. Like, you can't just change the narrative after the game.
No, it's funny.
Well,
I also thought it would be raining. I didn't realize it would be clear the way it was today. I saw the rugby last night. It was pissing down rain. I thought, okay, here we go.
What else can we say about Patrick Cripps that hasn't already been said? This guy just carries us. We are blessed, and he's just a superstar.
Yeah, he is.
Superstar.
He had a good game. He was pretty good.
George Hewitt was good. Always I really liked. Pitternet. I want to talk about actually
Finally.
because I am an avid lover of Pitto.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't, but he's just an old-fashioned crash and bash ruckman. He isn't TDK. He's not. He's just a crash and bash, and that's fine. Because Terry, we are a clearance team. We shouldn't shy away from that. We are a clearance team. We are not this D50 team. Like, look at our midfield: Hewitt, Cripps, Kennedy. That's crush and bash. That's who we are. The list is the list. We can't change that. That's who we are. So embrace it, people. Like, we were plus 28 in contested possessions today. We had 20 tackles inside 50. I can't tell you the last time I saw our boys triple team tackle. Like, it's been a long time. Corey Durden, I feel sorry for. He was so good today, Corey, and
he was
so good. But it is what it is, and we just roll up to Etihad next week, and
we're rolling up anywhere, mate. We're fucking charging to Marvel next week.
I've actually booked flights for Brisbane for the first final.
Well,
just
cancel
in
them.
case we make it.
Cancel them because we're playing Hawthorn, mate. We're going to play Hawthorn round one.
That is the nuffy in me who's just playing 2 or 3 weeks ahead, mate. That's who I am. So I will let you go because I know you're full, but enjoy this and let's go Blues. Let's do this.
See you next Sunday.
See you next Sunday, my man.
See you, mate. On your Webby. All right, we've got 4 left, and then it's time for bed. Gostas Ludas with $8 says, back to basics, all team performance and some chaos football. 1 more week of nerve jangling. 4 quarters coming up. Great show, Terry. Playing finals is a must. Yeah, absolutely, mate. Hey, Lewis. Hello, mate.
Tess, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, mate.
Yeah. First off, I don't know why this got deleted, but it turns out this is my 30-month membership for Blue Board. Just want to point that out.
30 months. You've been a member for that's a long time. Paying a month.
I remember the first.
Yeah.
I actually remember the first time I signed up for Blue Board. I actually got the video of it when you announced my name on
Really?
Blue Board. Yeah, I kept it, and I just want to say thank you for for this channel that you made and for creating this great content of yours and to be part of this great community for 30 months now. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. So before I get to the game, last night I had a birthday party with my whole family. It was a great occasion to celebrate my 21st, and my family decided to make Patrick Cripps do a birthday message for me. And he told me that we're going to give it a wet hot crack tomorrow and hopefully we get the win. And boy, they did deliver. They did deliver. I mean, especially him. His performance was really incredible. It's what captains do. It's what leaders do, especially when the team needs it. And I think to me, he showed what we're playing for. We're playing for finals, and I couldn't be more proud of what the youngsters were able to do. Jackson Benz kicking his first goal. I saw Ashton Moyer's goal. That was something. I never thought that was a great first goal. Kemp's performance, 4 goals, really good job for him. Stood up. I think to me he does stay in the forward line, even when Chai Kunahan Mackay maybe coming back for finals. I think he provides that third tool we need. I think the win was needed. I think this is the win that we needed to remind ourselves of what we were back then. Well, last year, what made us so damaging. I mean, we dominated the stoppages, we dominated the clearances. That's what we were last year. I think, our turnover game is good. We're actually in the top 3 in our turnover game. But if we get our stoppage and clearance game to work, like next week and then in the finals, that will make us more damaging. I think to me that will make us absolutely threatening in the finals.
Gives us a totally different dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think to me, I'm actually upset that Durden got injured. I think to me he was playing really good. I loved his ground ball gets. I love that he put pressure. But we move on. I guess, if Fantasia is available, maybe we'll put him in the side. But if it's not, then that's okay, because I think we know what this team can do. I mean, we've seen it. We saw it against today. We saw it today, and hopefully this can be the start of something. And I forgot to mention that I got a text from Dad. I actually got a text now. And he said this. What's more satisfying is now that Carlton won and Collingwood scum can't make the finals. Honestly, that was incredible.
It's a good little icing on the night.
Yeah.
Look, it's been a tough week for supporters because we were struggling last week. We didn't know what was going on. We got the injury news, and then just like that, footy has a really weird way of just reminding you that nothing is set in stone, nothing is certain. And, we've got 4 quarters to go. Job's not done. And I dare say the boys have never needed, the club have never needed everyone more than what they need them this Sunday.
Yeah.
So are you going to be there on Sunday?
Yeah, I am. I am actually going to be there on Sunday. Hopefully we get the job done against the Saints. It's like what Patrick Cripps said on my birthday message. He said that he knows that the club was in a tricky spot at the moment, and the way that we're playing, he's also very frustrated. I think it's good to see that we were able to dish up that performance to get some momentum into next week. And I think to me, Harry Mackay will come back next week. But we'll just see how it goes. Like I said, we control what we can control. We are writing our own story. We decide on what we can do and how we can improve on. And we'll just go from there, because we are in charge of our own destiny. So it's up to us now. We'll bring the noise at Marvel, and we will absolutely try our best to wheel our boys on and hopefully make the finals against whoever comes next.
Absolutely. Well, Lewis, happy birthday. There's a lot of people in the chat that have wished you a happy birthday. So I hope you had a great one. Happy 21st. Thanks
Thank you so
for
much.
calling in, and see you next week.
See you next week. Go Blues.
All right, man. Go Blues. Goals.
How we doing? Feeling a
Did you
bit
watch
better
it?
after last week.
Yeah, mate. You could say that again.
Oh my God! What a week! What a difference a week can make. Hey.
Yeah.
That's
What was
footy, isn't it?
What was your summary of today?
I was able to watch the last quarter, which was
Where were you for the first three?
I was at the G. I was at Hawks,
True.
Richmond.
You work every week at the G,
except for next week, which is great because I'm going away the week after that, and I could really use the money. But hey, it's what it is. Just at the G watching one of our other finals opportunities disappear, but hey, it is what it is. We've got a really good one with Freo against Port is a great one, and just beat the Saints. It's as simple as that.
Beat the Saints, play finals.
Exactly. And if Freo loses, we go up a few places. And if the Hawks lose, we go up a few places as well.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But watching that, I'm assuming the first 3 quarters was much of the same, but that last quarter definitely looked to me like this is a glimpse into the future for the Carlton Footy Club.
Hope so.
And yeah, I think the juniors, the debutants absolutely starred. I think the Hollands brothers both were incredible. I think, yeah, absolutely. And I don't know who it is, but I think this was the breakout game for one of Carlton's future captains. I think so.
Ollie Hollands?
I don't know who it could be, but I've just got a feeling about it.
Wait, which player had the breakout game?
I'm just saying. I feel like so many of the I feel like so many of the younger players, like future stars, had. Yeah.
As in there were so many breakout performances from the youngsters that one day one of them will.
Yeah, that's
become
what I'm saying. Yeah,
mate. It might have been Lockie Cowan, the way he played.
Like Cowan, Cowan is going to lock down our backline for the next decade. I'd say just about. He is an absolute legend. He's been playing like a 5-year player. Like now, Ollie Hollands and the Hollands brothers played together amazingly. Look, Ollie's kick to was it Jackson Binns for his maiden goal. Oh, it was beautiful seeing the 25 kick it straight again. I grew up watching Fev. I was at the game when he kicked his 99 goals, but it's beautiful seeing the 25 on the field again.
It is. It is good seeing the 25 kick a goal and celebrate with the crowd. So. Yeah.
What a kick.
Yeah, he had a nice little moment there, didn't he?
Yeah. It feels like with this game as well, it feels like we just went back to a simple game plan with this. And I felt like when we had the selection problems, it felt like we just tried to, the coaching tried to overcomplicate things a bit. Yeah. And it just felt like the simple game plan.
Sorry.
Pommy, what are you doing, mate?
I can hear the other rattling. I think it's a cat or a dog, and it's just like it said me. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's just so good to me.
Daisy, come here.
I'm hearing like the ruffling, and I'm dying.
Daisy, come here. Say hi to the camera.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, fuck.
She's got the zoomies. I haven't been able to. I haven't given her many walks this weekend because I've been going to the footy, so she's a bit restless. But hey.
Oh my god, I am crying, mate. I have tears flowing out of my eyeballs at the moment. Sorry, where were we?
Oh yeah, Pommy saying shit in chat.
Oh man. So wait, you're working next week, or you're not working next week?
I'm not working next week. I will be. You know what? I might be at the game. I might see if I can get tickets to show up for Marvel. Hey,
mate, absolutely.
It'll be the game to watch. Eh?
Mate, it's the game of the year, and we're all going to be here fan cams afterwards, win or lose, and so we want to
Absolutely.
just all get there and reminisce. So, anyway, Tolls, mate, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for calling in.
Absolutely.
All right,
See you next
go
week.
Blues.
Go
All right,
Blues.
mate. Go Blues. Lucinda,
Hello.
hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy again. I think I love Carlton again.
Well, I don't think you ever fell out of love with them. I think you fell into frustration and panic, and that's fair enough. The majority did,
Oh
but
no,
otherwise,
it was a break. We had a break in our relationship for probably 36 to 72 hours. It was just a break.
well, footy abroad was cancelled. Geez.
Yeah. That was yeah.
But that was actually really good because I just spent the whole night, doing playlists, which ironically, what I did today, which was totally random, apart from wearing a full-on Batman dress with a Batman tee underneath, and it's your fault, by the way, but in a good way, because it looks like they're thinking about that climb of yours, theirs. But basically, I think I was just trying to listen back to some of the music outside of Spotify. So I had my webcam going when the watch along started, and it kind of never went off. So it was kind of like, what are we doing here? Are we watching along to the watch along? So at any given time, I was just singing along, and then you have Pommy going off with the manifesting playlist. It's goal after goal after goal comes. I'm like, okay, this is working. And now I'm a bit stressed. I'm like, shit, do I have to wear the Batman dress next week at the ground? Fuck. That would be interesting. But you never know. I think my dad might look at me a bit strange, but I don't really care. It's on the cards as potential. So I've done some little research for everyone, just thinking ahead to the win next week. Let's just let the last bullshit fuck off. So apparently I have found out that if we look at Geelong number 1, we ran out of legs and or clock, lost by 13. Similarly, in their first match, talking about the Saints, well, I think the Cats, the Cats won by 8. So if we're looking tight by similarities based on early round versus what's happening now, we, in our second game, did the Cats more significantly than they just won by 3. So you just have to try and manifest the energy of today, next week, but you can't be what some people would say unrealistic. So if we have tight against the Saints, let's say it's a 20 to 24, I reckon that favours us. Then if we have a dominating Carlton that, goes ahead, well, then you can talk however margins you want. But I'm not saying that we'd get, the same records as, the revenge matches of 63, then 61. That's unrealistic, and we're fighting for finals. But that being said, if we're sitting here in, 7 days and we've won by 70, well, fantastic. I mean, I'm not saying it's, not possible. I think healthy 40s is, but I just think don't press too much pressure. But then what would I know? I walked around playing the theme song full blast all Saturday afternoon, and ran into a celebrating 160 years billboard that was this long, well, obviously not to scale, and all sorts of other stuff, including the moon looking very illuminated, kind of like this. And I didn't know if it was trying to be the bat signal or the sun, and it wasn't even sunset yet. So that's how I was confident with that. So what I've noticed in your narrative tonight is this morning, everyone thought we were fucked and shit scared. And then it was like, oh, fuck, the reality hits. It's only West Coast. No, there's no shit sides. North would argue that they're not, shit. They've just had shit luck. And then that circles me back to, if you take away the Hawthorn margin, we were what? 2 or 3 unlucky kicks away from more victories. So now we have the dilemma next week. So who do we keep in? Who do we have returning? So if we've just won by 66 and we've had historical wins of 63 and 61, well, Charlie kicked, let's have a look, against the Cats in the second one, it looks like 5 goals to behinds.
Wait, sorry. bring me
Yeah.
back to how this relates to St Kilda next week again.
Because if we bring Charlie back in, everyone's saying leave him out, blah blah blah, don't need him. So if we're looking at similar games, like with similar results, he's kicked 5-2, but then you could also say against Richmond he was more, contained with 2. So what I'm saying is, if he's fit enough, let him, but otherwise rest him for finals because we've got the cavalry.
We're fine. Yeah, we can do it. Bring that intensity, and I think we can beat anyone, to be honest. So will you be there next Sunday?
Yeah. Yeah. In my usual
Beautiful.
level 1
Well,
reserve.
well, I look forward to fan cams after hopefully a big win next week, Lucinda.
Yeah, let's just omit the hopefully and just manifest the definitely. I mean, I already cancelled the weather this week. Come on.
Amazing. Well, you have a good night.
You too.
See ya. Lucky last. Mark.
Hey, mate, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I got to be honest. I'll credit for Lucinda having her thoughts, but there was just part of it that just got me almost wanting to really start work already this early in the morning. But anyways, that's right. Everyone's entitled to their view, but that's Sunday night for you. A couple of things before we get on to the game. Happy birthday to young, I think it was Luke or something. You had about 3 or 4 callers ago.
Lewis, yep.
I was at Lewis. Probably more of a better Lewis than the one we've currently got, but that's another day to settle there. Anyways, happy birthday to him. And Webby makes me laugh too. He's already booked flights for Brisbane. I mean, we're still going to get the job done first. I mean, we've put ourselves in this situation when we should not have, really, because the Geelongs and the Sydneys and even the Hawthorn of yesteryear, if they were in the position that we were 6-7 weeks ago, we would have wrapped this all up by now, having a different story. So whilst we're still trying to figure it out, but it's still destiny in our own hands. So look, good response. It was really good to see Moya and Binns obviously finally kicking a goal in obviously Moya's debut, and Binns, it was his second game, but first full game that he actually did not play as the sub. So that was obviously good to see. Brody Kemp going forward and kicking forward was obviously a delight. Owies with his 3, which obviously going in, he was actually our leading goal kicker, obviously with minus Charlie and Harry. So leading from the front, and then obviously Kennedy with a couple, which was great, and just Cripps doing Cripps things, and Hewitt basically the second right-hand man to it. And Elijah Holland's good to see him, I think, maybe for the first time this season, unless he's had another game where he's had 25 or so disposals. Good for him to actually, I guess, be the third main man to make a bit of an impact. So, I just wanted to get your thoughts quickly before I add on a few other things. What's your theory with Sam Walsh?
I think he's a sore boy. I think he had back surgery and an interrupted preseason, and I think he's copped a few knocks to the hip as well, and he just doesn't have the same burst that he had earlier in the year. And I just think he's battling through.
Yeah, look, my theory with him, and I don't know if other people have really mentioned this about him, but I just feel like Walsh could go potentially from good to great. And the reason why I say this is that you see a lot of good to great players that use both sides of their body proficiently. I just feel Walsh too many times just always does these check side banana kicks into, whether it's into the forward 50 or obviously just around the ground, where you even see Cripps, Hewitt, or obviously even Elijah Holland you'd see, who obviously is a right footer but using his left a lot. Just someone like him in particular, I can always feel that can go that extra step, being very useful on both sides of his body, whether it's by foot or by hand. I just feel is probably just the only thing that really is letting him down. But I mean, I guess I know he's battling through with his back, but I think the more ambidextrous players you got obviously in a team, the more that you obviously get to find yourself how to avoid, constant traffic, and also just opening the game up from all angles of the ground. And that's really with anyone, Like, you don't have to be obviously the greatest player in the world to figure that out. only those that that are very sufficient on both sides of their body would obviously separate themselves from here to right there. And I just feel for someone like him, as much as how we rave of him being a very good player and whatnot, I just think he's still got so much more of his game to be perfecting that in the next few years to come. So
why I like Elijah Hollands' game, because he can play on both sides.
That's
you
right.
don't see it. You don't see a lot of it at all in this league when the kids come through. Like, I know Ashton Moyer has an ability to kick set shots on either side, which is interesting. But it's just a dying art, being able to kick on both ends.
Well, I'll tell you this, Terry, and for everybody and for everyone that's watching at home or wherever they are around the world, we're nearly 3 hours in. Name me the last player that was a ambidextrous sufficient, both sides of their body, left, right foot, left, right handball. Name me one within the last decade. I've got one, but just for you.
Sam
or anyone
Mitchell?
else. I'm talking about as in a Carlton player.
Oh, Carlton.
Yeah, no, sorry. A Carlton player. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, Mitchell and side bottom from other clubs, yes, but I'm talking from a Carlton perspective. Don't worry about the rest of the clubs. This is us, our channel, not the rest.
Mate, it's a good question, and I mean, unless the name is, passing me, I don't think we've had a bona fide one.
Well, maybe that could be something for your quiz, or could I just maybe give you the answer right now?
Mate, give me the answer. What have you got?
Oh, Heath Scotland.
Oh, yeah, true.
Heath Scotland.
He was good on both sides. Yeah.
Heath Scotland served himself for a good decade at our club, and he was just someone that doesn't matter if it was the short 15, 20-metre darts, or he would blaze it 35, 40 to obviously create a contest down forward 50 and would do it sufficiently. I mean, and you mentioned of other clubs like, Mitchell and Sidebottom that could do it with relative ease. I just feel that the more our players are able to perfect that, the more that we become way beyond unpredictable, because again, why I say this about Walsh, I just feel like as much as we rave of him being a really good player, I still feel he can be a really great player, because again, everyone says that besides Cripps, next man is Walsh. Really, Cripps' next man is Hewitt. And then I'm going to throw Elijah in there, or you could even throw Kennedy, whoever you can take your pick. And, it may be a bit of a smack for Walsh, but I think at the same time, if we want to elevate a lot more as a club, then the simple matter is the more ambidextrous players that we have, the more unpredictability that teams will actually have to, all right, okay, if you're going to target his right side, he'll know how to find a left. Or if they're a left footer, but how are you going to target their right?
It's a great
That's
call,
how you
mate.
get teams. That's how you get teams guessing. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'll as much as he's from the rival club, I would kill to have a still side bottom in our side, because the way he uses the footy by hand, by foot, and on both sides of his body. And if we had that with not just one player or two, but the majority of our team, then we'll be a bona fide side. And whilst we've still got obviously the last round of the season to come, and it's still in our hands, I mean, it's very simple. I just have actually, how's this, Terry? Hopefully by this time next week, just about to open the door. Oh, yes, hello, can I help you? What's that? Are you Fremantle, all the way from WA? Yeah, we'll have to think about that if you think you're going to come in towards the top eight's meeting room. So I'm just going to slam the door shut on them, because that would be our job to do come 3:20 next week. We do that.
And you got to dangle the medals in front of them just to show them what they're missing out on.
Hang on, Terry. I'll tell you right now, let's just be careful, because sometimes with us Carlton supporters, we do tend to jump the gun a fair bit. Now, we can only get to actually, that's why, was it last week? No, it was the Collingwood game that I showed you that. No, we're going to slam the door shut first. We're going to slam that door shut first. Then we can start popping all that stuff. So to everybody out there, as far as next week, when we win, keyword, when we win, I want everybody, that includes Pom, that you'll have for the first 10 to 15, and Parlo, who's probably got his SCN callers, they'll have about 1,000 coming in within the 1 hour, to urge everybody, when, and I'll say it again, when we win, hand up, when we win, right? And if you're at home, just get ready to open up that door, see if there's any Collingwood, Fremantle, or any other supporters of the bottom 10, and don't just close the door, slam the door so hard right in front of their faces so then we can get into business for that new part of the season. When we do it. When, because we don't want to go into next week, I guess. Actually, that's the other thing, Terry, because I am the last one that's currently on. You can have a bit of a, I guess, two-way sway as far as for your next week's show. Would you maybe tend to do it straight after the game, or do you tend to wait potentially of what happens with that final game, Fremantle and Port Adelaide? Because
No, we'll be doing live updates while we're doing the fan cams, mate.
well, wouldn't that be some intriguing viewing, considering that it would be more, oh my God, then we're praying for God, or it's more like, as I said, when we do, slam that door shut. Hang on, there's another door.
Look, I just
Let's
need to
slam
know.
it.
I just need to know that the medals will be ready. I don't think you understand the power of when you brought those medals out. You brought back like a nostalgia from our Carlton People episode, and even just hearing them rattle, like very few times there's like a fan cam like, send me, mate, you sent me.
It's Terry, it's what I do. You know, I'm full of those colourful moments, and sorry about that. Oh God, that was a bit of something stuck in the tooth. Sorry about that. That was really bad. Well, mate, but that's what we do. I mean, like, come on. Like, didn't Paul Sebastiani have some sort of poll as far as like what would rather miss the finals than or what? Or some other caller said something about what get belted in the first what? Like, guys, hear me out and just hear everybody out here. This is the most unpredictable season ever, right? It is. To be frank, like, you think of the games that we've dropped, we would have been sitting where Port Adelaide is right now. To really be fair, Sydney deserves the spot where they are at the moment, but they've had a slump. Now, I know it's going to be very hard because we're still going to get through next week, but hopefully when we do, I think anyone can do it from any position. We've seen Hawthorn come from the clouds. Bulldogs are in obviously great form. We've still been in bad form, but we just needed a very, very much needed win. But St Kilda's still going to be, they're still going to be tricky. We all already know that. But again, as I said for the 1,000th time, when we do, we just got to put them to the sword and just lay out the pressure that we did through today. So, and I still think it's anyone's game. You know, if for argument's sake, we have to play, let's say, Brisbane in the first week of finals, when it actually becomes official, obviously not yet, you know, I'm just cliche there, but when it does, so be it. We did it in the opening round of the season. Why can't we do it again? And the thing is, guys, you also got to remember this, right? Brisbane are going into their, 6th finals year campaign. And the thing is, every year they don't win the flag, they're a step closer from falling down together. And for us, it's still only just the beginning. I told you, Terry, to play, if we're able to play 3, 4, anyways, I think if you play around 4 or 5 years of final series consecutively, then you know you're on the right path.
Yeah. Well, Mark, always a pleasure chatting to you, my friend. The chat would love to see the medals, by the way. I don't know if you can see the chat. Do you have them handy?
Wait, you're talking about the YouTube comments or the Facebook comments? You might have to send that to me later, but what is it there?
No, in the live chat, people are asking, can we see the medals before we wrap up?
I'm sorry, excuse me. I have been a bit under the weather throughout the week. Well, actually, I just happened to have my birthday 2 days ago, so that's been.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mate. 33, just like you. So
Happy
it's
birthday,
been a good
mate.
week.
Happy birthday.
No, thanks. No, thank you, and to anyone else, whether they've mentioned it or not, just now. So that was good. Good way to top up the weekend as such. But like I said, everyone, right? We must win next week. And remember, if you're at home, don't just close the door. Slam it shut right in front of their faces, right? So then that way we can get to business. And till then, bring on the Saints and then we'll knock them for dead. So let's make it happen, all right?
Good on you, mate. Go Blues.
And don't worry, we'll be there next week, 55,000 strong. Let's make it happen.
See you, mate. Well, there's the fan cams. Oh, man, 7 days is such a world of difference. Goodness me. Thank goodness they won. Okay. Don't really have much else to say. I think everything's been covered. I really want to watch the presser, but it's just not worth it. Anyway, I also wanted to see the medals. I really wanted to see the medals. I'm going to hope that Mark brings the medals next week. Guys, thanks for tuning in. It was a really interesting week. Last Sunday threw me completely. And then today, I reckon I got to halfway through the second quarter before I really started to breathe and relax. I was so worked up about it. I was nervous and anxious, and I don't usually get like that. But anyway, that was a win that I think we all needed to see. And now we gear up. I mean, tomorrow is going to be the review and the ratings and the like. But, oh my God, the build up to next Sunday. And I've got to catch up with Jake from Saints TV and his Sunnies and that fucking Saints bomber jacket and that fucking grin. And I've got to stare at him on Tuesday night. We're going to do a preview with him and he's going to be so up and about. And the thought of losing to St. Kilda just gives me the ick. So, but it's not going to happen. Anyway, any last few super chats here? Oh, Connor, thanks again for putting me in. Connor, no problem, mate. Thanks for calling in. Shield, I hate to say that performance was severely poor. Shield, you're going to trick the chat, mate. You won't trick me. Anyway, thanks to everyone that called in. That was incredible. 3 hours and 11 minutes. Next week might be the last fan cams that we do for the year. So you just don't know. It's do or die. We're in do or die territory. But we're not losing to St. Kilda. It's not happening. Anyway, have a good night. See you tomorrow. Go Blues.